I'm so sad. Like, I never got the Master Sword. Ever. Like,
Whoa.
What? I thought...
This is the Imperial Schools of Honor podcast. I am Josh Folan.
And I'm Nick Petrohilos.
And I am Jay Baxtron.
And we are going to be bullshitting about the formative years of console gaming as we revisit the Petrohilos that covered it again. We are continuing a epic side quest here, and that is a situation where we incrementally fiddle with an old school RPG, start to finish, with the Systems of Vintage Game literature. And the quest that we are currently perhaps on the backside of right now is Nintendo's 1987 release of The Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And the accompanying literatures of antiquity for us on this undertaking are the incredibly well done 48-page instruction manual, the accompanying map and strategy tips pamphlet that also came in the box, and then the Legend of Zelda Tips and Tactics, which was a 103-page tome produced by Nintendo and Tokuma Shoten Publishing around the time of the game's release or a little thereafter, and was sold via mail order. I put the link to the scans of all these documents of lore in the show notes for the duration of the quest, if you have any trouble finding them on your own Google box. And emulation disclosure, the tools with which we undertook our quest to defeat Ganon, just so everybody knows those. Nick, how did you play?
Once again,
How are you playing?
I'm using Nestopia UE emulator on my old laptop, and I am playing with an 8BitDo Ultimate Bluetooth controller.
Nice.
Man, I got more bitching about that too, man. That fucking controller was really a pain in my ass for the back 4 dungeons, man. That
Really?
fucking 8-bit controller is killing my soul. Jay?
Nothing can beat the standard OG NES controller, which is what I used playing via my Nintendo Switch Online.
I, was using my 8-bit controller to the best of my ability, along with NetroArch Nestopia Rig emulation on my PC. Please rate and review the pod wherever you listen if you enjoy our shit. It helps us quest. And then also check out Nick's pod, the Cartridge Command podcast, which should have been said at the beginning of the last episode as well.
Yeah, give us a listen.
I'm getting better, guys. I'm doing my best. Last time on the Imperial Schools of Honor podcast, we were emerging beleaguered but hopeful from Labyrinth 4 with half of the Triforce of Wisdom assembled. And I don't know about you guys, but I woke up that day feeling dangerous.
I felt freaking good, man. I was feeling motivated. You guys were the ones saying, like, pretty much that I was missing half the game, all the secrets. So I'm like, all right. My plan
did you just immediately just start spamming everything?
Dude,
is that
my plan? I was like, I'm gonna find the heart on the water I couldn't get earlier, walk into the waterfall, but really, I'm gonna find out all these overworld secrets. So I'm like burning bushes, like trying to burn bushes, like trying to throw bombs, just anything I could do.
Not having the second candle yet, and trying to just like, I have no idea what to do.
Which is
about
what I
candles.
did, dude.
It's so much. It's so much work. It's so much work.
The second candle changed everything later, but I still, even with the first guy, I was trying, and I was like, man, what the, golly, where how does this work? You know?
Okay. So let's talk about kind of like our to-dos coming out of here. I guess yes, you're bush burning and spamming, and obviously we got to get to the next dungeon. But was there anything other than that was like a core fucking agenda before you got back into the dungeon run stuff? I guess, Jay.
Just to see stuff that I saw I couldn't get before that I now could get, like because I had the raft, I could go get this heart up out on the water. I knew for a fact I was going to get that, and I knew for a fact I had to go
the one in the top right above the one on the dock, right? Yeah.
And then like to walk into the waterfall, I knew I had to go do that as well. but after that, it was just to try to find secrets before moving on to the next dungeon. And that's what I did. I was looking around, and my thought was, I kept seeing these boulders, and like I know at some point I can move boulders, but I was like, what do I even need? Looking at the manual and everything, it's like, okay, I think I need the power bracelet, but how do I get that? So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay, so no inklings of what might lead you to that at all. Okay,
not at the moment.
Copy that. Nick, you were at what was it, 11 hearts?
I'm trying to think.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Man.
I think it was 11 hearts
because
I want to say.
After we beat the 4th labyrinth, I went and got the remaining 2 hearts and the power bracelet on my way to get the magic sword, because I don't normally I'll try to run through the game, trying to do that quick. I usually go through the 5th dungeon with the white sword, and I was like, not today, and it was nice. It definitely helped. So that was fun.
Huge uptick. Exactly twice as good. Yeah.
Wait, so you got the...
Yeah. I walked. I didn't go through the, like graveyard in Lost Woods. I just skipped across the top because I normally don't even get the power bracelet or any, like I don't know. I leave a lot of stuff behind when I'm playing in a hurry, so to speak. So I was like, man, I haven't been in this section of the map in many years. So I was like, I'm gonna kind of waltz over here, and I didn't go to level 6. I just got that, and since I got the power bracelet for the first time, and I can't even tell you how long. So I was like, man, I'm going to use these old shortcuts to cut me right over to level 5. It was nice.
As you were saying that, it dawned on me how like completely unnecessary. And again, I'm just so completionist that I can't not get it, especially with what the actual what you have to do to get it is such an easy thing. So it's never even occurred to me that like it's almost a complete waste of time.
Getting
the power bracelet.
So I'm so sad. Like I never got the Master Sword ever. Like
what?
I thought I had it, but I realized I'm like, I don't even have. Yeah, I after the game ended, I was like, are you kidding me? Like I didn't even have it the whole time. So I looked up how to get it afterwards. I was just like,
oh man,
are you fucking kidding me?
That was gonna be one of my big questions for sure. How the fuck did you find so you never even went to that grave?
It was in the grave, and when I went to the grave, I think I was looking for. I can't remember what I was looking for, but I was just doing stuff. Never. I don't know. I just never did stuff over there.
Wow.
And so I'm super pissed off about it.
I mean, there's no...
How much easier would the game have been had I...
Twice as easy. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to do over there. And it's like so much real estate, really.
To me, chased, and it was kind of just like, what's the point?
To me, it does actually have... It's a great grinding place also. Whether it be for hearts just to get full again... Or if you actually need rupees or whatever, it's a great grind spot. There's a trick to that I like. So I use it for that too. But if you don't know about that or not using that, and you don't fucking know that you can't find the sword, there's no reason to be in the graveyard at all in the game. Like even go that way. It's completely out of the way, obviously. Yeah. That's fucking
hats
crazy,
off to
Jay.
you, man. Doing it the hard way, man.
Yeah. What a fucking soldier. Why get the sword at all, Jay? Should just win no swords. Just did no sword run.
I know. I just looked at the icons, I think, or no, it was a video I was watching, and I realized like the sword definitely was like sideways, and mine was very different. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought it just meant like when your sword is full powered, like when it can shoot at first. But then I was like, no, that's not what this means. I completely just never got it.
That is fucking nuts. That's crazy. It's even more wild to me that like you didn't even like you were completely unbeknownst, that you finish the game before realizing that you didn't have it.
Well, I just kept thinking I would find it, like even when I got to all the way to the last dungeon, like I'm still thinking, okay, there's some stuff I gotta find here. Like this is gonna be like
killing those whiz robes and shit, bro. Dude. Oh my god. It's so bad. It's so bad to be doing that with a white sword.
Not fun.
That sounds so fucking
I mean, I felt
miserable.
like a badass anyway, like kicking, but it was not.
Well, that will raise a very interesting question to talk about as we go to the dungeons.
Yes.
And kind of, because, yeah, I mean, there's so many things that are, like, really bullet spongy later on that, I mean, I want to even, like, know how the Ganon, yeah, I have a million questions, so I look forward to getting into that. Well, yeah, I was ready to implement weapons of mass destruction on the hordes of Ganon, so top of mind was going to get that Master Sword. I went up there, and obviously it's kind of just like a fucking pick it up on the way thing to get the power bracelet. So those were the two things that were most important to me. And then I wanted to finish off my coward Moblin rupee stash thing for the Chivo purposes. So that was kind of my overworld things. Before we get into our actual moment-to-moment overworld stuff, there were a couple things that we brought up last time, or kind of whatever collectively think tanked about in the episode. Kind of data study type things. And one of them was, we talked about bait susceptible enemies. So like the things that the bait would actually attract.
Yeah.
And we were kind of curious about how useful it might actually be in the game to use for that. Never having really tried to do it to any great length.
Yeah.
And the Zelda Wiki lists, it works on Octoroks, Moblins, Vyres, and Gorias only. So my kind of hypothesis was that it would be completely useless in dungeons. And that's not exactly the case. Vyres and Gorias obviously both appear in dungeons.
Yeah.
But I can't think of ever seeing either of those enemies in a dungeon and being like, oh shit. Like I need a strategy here to whatever, So yeah, it's not the most useful thing, but it does have purpose beyond just like those really mundane overworld things. So
maybe if it was cheaper, but like at 60 rupees at the cheapest you can get, and I don't know, it just feels like it's a waste of money, man, to use it that way anyhow.
To some degree, yeah. Yeah, precisely, yeah. Yep, I agree. I mean, yeah, to be honest with Vyres and Gorias, I mean, the Gorias, whatever, even that, because their fucking boomerang doesn't go the whole screen, so you can just hang back and deal with them with a projectile if you have those, I guess, earlier in the game. Maybe that's helpful. If you're not full life and you don't have a wand yet per se, or even an arrow maybe. But Vyres in particular, like, I see those. I mean, once you have the white sword and they're not turning into the things, the keys, they're like, oh, great. Like, this is a chance to actually get some pickups and not really be at risk. So, like, the last thing I want to do is, or the last thing I am is worried.
Well, and that list of enemies aren't exactly the deadliest. If it worked on like Dark Nuts or likes or anything,
precisely right,
tougher,
exactly.
You'd be like, but no guns. Yep.
Agreed. And then the other question we raised was what enemies are invulnerable to what items, and this I spent a somewhat embarrassing amount of time trying to find like an actual way to certainly what I was really looking for obviously was just like a table, which definitely I could not find despite some really, really extensive Googling. I found a game FAQ from like 2008 that had an enemy by enemy breakdown that you could probably piece the information together and make your own table. I was not quite that committed, but yeah, it was a hard thing to track down. So unfortunately don't have the exact answer to it, but I do desire very much to know kind of like what works on what, because that would be a really useful thing to have.
Agreed.
I just did my own field testing. Where
exactly. And that's kind of more fun anyways, obviously. Yeah.
And then I was like, yep, okay, that doesn't work on that at all. Let me just rewind and go back to just pretty much 99% of the time I'm just using the sword anyway, like for me. So
really?
Yeah, trying other stuff was just kind of more like a let me just see what happens in this scenario kind of thing. Unless I knew I needed to like feed the bomb to the dinosaur thing or whatever,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just because I was playing in this like podcast context where I'm like fucking, fence testing and seeing what, trying new things I normally wouldn't try just for the sake of science. But I ended up the wand. Like I want to talk about the wand a lot later, and I don't think I've ever really fucking cared about it. And this time around, I was like, God damn it, this is a useful tool. Why isn't this something that is like ingrained in my Legend of Zelda plays? Because it is such a useful thing in those last handful of dungeons. It replaces the sword basically. I mean, for all intents and purposes. I mean, I'm not even sure I can think of anything that it's ineffective against that the sword would be.
There was definitely things that it would just kind of freeze, but it wouldn't really do too damage to, if I recall.
The wand freeze it? I don't think it has a freezing capability.
What did the wand do again? Remind me.
It shoots the waves, and then once you get the book, when it hits whatever it hits, an enemy, a wall, whatever, it turns into a flame, which is obviously I'm not even. That is a bonus. That's bonus plan shit. Right. And there's things that makes really useful later, like those fucking Moldrums, the fire snakes in 8 and 9. Like you can just murk those from the other side of the room and barely any effort because of the persistent damage of the. So yeah, I ended up could not believe how useful a tool that was, and I don't think I've ever thought that way about it. So
really, that's crazy, man. I definitely in those later dungeons when I would get hit a couple times, the stuff was just hairy, and I just did not have full life. I just flipped to that and just this is my weapon for now until I filled up.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I bet with the white sword. I bet.
Hey,
I recently. I don't know, like a forum or something. When I was trying to research about what the bow would work, if it would work on Gleeok, which it doesn't, but they did say that the wand will. So that which I never knew. I was like, wow, and I was kind of always a proponent of the wand as a youth. You know, I loved it.
I'm pretty sure I tested that, and I have a note later that it does not.
Oh.
There was something that I tried on a Gleeok, and it did not
Maybe
work.
they were wrong.
Well, we'll get to that in the notes, I guess.
Know.
Right. Yeah, because I remember there was that 4-headed Gleeok in whatever it is, 7 or 8, whatever that is. I think it's a mini boss in 8 maybe. There's the 4-headed one, and I tried. I was like, there's like trying to find I got everything now. Let's see, strategize. Gets some way to fucking actually. Whatever, deal with these other than just fucking body crashing into them, which is really what I've always had to do. And sure, I couldn't get anything to work, and I ended up just crashing into it and fucking just slapping the sword around. Fucking all willy-nilly until it was dead, So, yeah, I was never able to find anything that was like a shortcut with those dudes. In that last episode, we were discussing the, 94, I think it was, of the 128 screens. So let's, there's not a ton, I think, to talk about in those last, 28 plus 34, in those last 34 screens. There's not a ton to talk about, but a few of the big beats coming out of the Snake Labyrinth. We have the ladder, so we can cross over that river, like you mentioned doing, Nick, to get up to Death Mountain and the graveyard. But you can also go through the Lost Woods, and we didn't talk about that last time. And Jay, did you ever figure that out?
Figure it out? Yeah, it was actually pretty easy.
Okay.
The woman. Wait, was it the woman? Yeah, the woman kind of. I gave her 20 rupees, and she said to go up the mountain. Like she told me where to go through there. Was it the woman? No. Yeah, she was up the mountain. So that was
it's the same. It's the same thing though.
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing. It's just another one. You got to pay her a different amount of money though.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. Am I mixing it up? Yeah, that's right. So I instinctively knew where to go. Thankfully. I mean, I would come back later. It's funny. I would come back later, like just grinding and looking for stuff and trying to just find more secrets and just not realize I was in it. And then I was like, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's north, west, south, and west, and I think the need to hang a Louis after that first west and then go south again is the real humdinger in that, because south is like back. I just came from there.
Right.
So thinking to do that just intuitively, I think would be a pretty tough thing if you're just out like trying to field test this or just fence test this rather without that woman's input, so.
I got to give them props for putting one of the few instances where they're like, it's actually a clear clue and it's near the mystery,
right.
Where it's like, it's right there. So it's not that tough to figure it out if you're completely lost. So good for them.
Yep. And I could in my head, trying to role play it, make it because clearly, it's like a fucking great, it's a Nintendo game, a million reasons why it doesn't matter. But if you're out in if you're in a forest and like you're, it's not basically it's not on perfect fucking grids like this to the real world. So like the idea that you'd have to like cut back the way you came a little bit, or at least that direction after having went west, makes total sense if you're like can like kind of detach it from, again, the grid nature of a NES game from 1986. So yeah. I can see them like making the world in their head and finding justification in this outside of just like, it's a video game, shut the fuck up, just do it. So then the other big thing, like we talked about, or one of the big things, is the power bracelet, and then the warps that opens up to you. And Jay, you said you could never even found it. I think in general...
Wait, no, I did find it. I never found the master,
did you?
But I did end up finding it. Yeah.
Okay, copy. Great. All right, so, yeah, I mean, I kind of think... Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, there is no in-game direction for the actual location of this, correct?
Not that I can think of. I
don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, not that I've found.
As a kid, I feel like I probably picked it up from Nintendo Power or something, and just so
probably.
I knew where it was,
or just that playground rumor mill, perhaps.
Sure, and like you get it, and then you can access the shortcuts between the 4 points, and where you move a rock, you go down some stairs to 3 more stairs that'll take you to the other 3. But I never have since found a easy way to remember which is which, and it was always kind of frustrating because
They are persistent though.
Yes.
They it's not like they're not. I kind of just expected them to be random, so I tested it out, and they The second one is the second one. It always goes to that same place from the one that you're coming from. Like it is sensible if you use them a lot, I guess maybe is the way to say it. They are probably like, it's dependably useful, I guess is maybe the way to say it,
They're not bad, but just like as a kid, I would always just get so frustrated where you go to the wrong one. And so I pretty quickly was just like, man, I'm just not going to mess with it,
Right.
So, but this time I, went down old memory lane and it's not bad. Like, if nothing else, there's that one right by the ferry. So if you need to fill up some life, maybe you could warp there. But
I also think the one that I think the best application in my mind, or the best application I found for it rather, was the getting in and out of Death Mountain without having to go through the bullshit. The one that's right there by level 6, like just going in and out of that instead of having to go kind of around and down or down through the graveyard, is a little bit easier and worth the time that it saves you. But the other ones, the other 3 are kind of, I guess if you want to jump over to that ferry, that might be a good idea too, as far as just useful quick access stuff.
It's all right, but it's like, if you come to this from having played later Zeldas, you might expect more utility out of this than you're going to. Kind of like the raft, where you're like, I use it twice and that's it. Like, and this is like,
Yep, I agree. And I mean, going back a little more about like finding that thing and exactly where it is. Like, so it's under that Armos that's up in Death Mountain, and I kind of think that like the expectation that you're just going to be out spamming those Armoses in the Lionel hellscape that is fucking Death Mountain, it's some real Death Wish shit that they ask of you to kind of find this needle in a haystack, I think. So, it's a real shit if you're just playing it blind and not taking any, not getting any help at all from anywhere. It's a real to-do, I think.
And because that screen, and I think the one next to it, are just full of, there's a ton of those guys. Like, it's not like other ones.
And like we said, they get, like, some of them are fast as fuck, and like you can't even, the really fast ones will fucking just destroy you before you can't even, there's no chance of like, if they actually home onto you, which is like a hit or miss 50-50 thing maybe, whether they do or don't. Yeah. But if they do, you're like, you really can't do anything other than just like, keep pushing a direction and hope to get off screen, or just obviously spam everywhere. Either way, you're losing a lot of fucking hearts in that case. So it is a very trial by fire hunt and peck situation. And it's just a lot, I think. So, I mean, you said you did find it, Jay. Was it just like a stumbling situation, or like, did you have some sort of like fucking system?
I knew that, I had already known that you could find things under those guys anyway. So it was kind of like, when I see them, I'm trying them. Like, I'm going to try them.
That's good to hear. That was my one thing is like, they do teach you that those can have things in them in places that it's much more reasonable to just be trying things and learn that in. Yep. You know, the one with just the 2, or some of the screens just have the 2, and you just fucking, and there's a stair underneath. Yep. So it teaches you that in more benign places, I think, that makes it a little less whatever. But
exactly.
I was curious whether you had picked up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, like, you definitely have to have your wits about you for sure. I know, like, one of them is going to be slow and plodding, and I can kind of take him out and see if whether or not he has something underneath him. But one of those guys is going to be like sprinting at me, so I'm going to be ready with, I'm going to be ready to take him out. But yeah, it was just kind of
always doing the touching from the top.
Oh, always. Oh yeah, I learned that quickly. Quickly.
I mean, even I don't know where it's at exactly. I'm up there also spamming. And yeah, the way I usually do it is like, I think there's 8 on those screens, and like I'll just like do 2 at a time, 2, and then pop off screen, and then come back and do the next 2, and just whatever until I actually find it. So like it. even at my whatever seasoned fucking Legend of Zelda status, I'm still just fence testing and doing and like figuring out a way to make it less risky for me to do so.
Oh yeah, I absolutely learned quickly. You got to touch at the top. You got to do a quick taparoo, tap taparoo.
Yeah. The tips and tactics. Description for the power bracelet reads, Link can get more power if he finds this bracelet. With it, Link can even move rocks, but it's not easy to find. Use your imagination.
That's an interesting.
I don't know about imagination. Just fucking blind luck. Maybe try that. So yeah, it opens up these 4 places. There's one just east of the start. As soon as the setting clicks over to mountains, basically. Yep. There's the one right there. And then there's another in the southeast woods near Labyrinth 2. And I think it's maybe just north of that, perhaps. And then there's another at the extreme east side of Death Mountain. And then the last is in the real shit of Death Mountain, right above Dungeon 6 there, over near the graveyard. And yeah, you walk down into the steps, and there's the old man down there. He says, take any road you want, is his patter. And then, you head into the thing and warp to wherever, so... I mean, it's, I'm not sure. I guess the question maybe like historical significance. Like, I don't know. I can't like fast travel. Like, I don't think that had ever been done. Not in a game like this. Maybe there's some like fucking really rudimentary RPG thing on PC where whatever. Yeah. You could dependably go to different places with whatever, some sort of spell or something. But like in a Nintendo game like this is definitely the first NES game of this kind of scope where that's possible, where you can like dependably just, once you've discovered this thing and you're done exploring, you're going to a place that you already know for the simple purpose of reducing your bullshit time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that really specific function. I'm not sure that I can think of another instance of that. So
you might be right.
Yeah. Kind of cool. So much forward thinking shit in here. This is just another one on the list. So there's the Master Sword, and again, holy fuck, I can't believe you didn't have this. So it's another hunt and peck thing, I think, and there's 6 screens of graveyard. It's a 2x3. The top right one is where this is. It is what? It's the second down headstone of the grid. I think their grids of 16, maybe 4x4s, and there you go into these graveyard screens. There's the one Gahini, they're called, the ghosts, and that's like the master ghost. And he's just wandering around. You can kill him. He functions like a normal enemy. It's three sword hits with the Master Sword. I think he's got 9 HP. Yeah. With the White Sword, obviously way more. And then you can touch the fucking graves, and those make other ghosts appear that are invulnerable. So the only one you can actually kill to kill any of them is that original one. And that's super easy when there's only a few. But if you're out making a bunch of ghosts appear to look for shit underneath headstones, there's going to be a bunch, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to have a hard time finding that Master Ghost and get your ass whooped. So this was a really interesting, very different than any other enemy in the game. Yeah. Kind of system that was pretty cool, I think. And a nice, I don't know, path of resistance to finding this very important item, as a cool development tool.
I guess if you found it,
So I mean, were you out you were just pushing all sorts of random fucking headstones, Jay? Or
like when I got here, well, the first time I came here, I was looking for a dungeon, I think, and so I was I can't remember what I was looking for, but I was looking for something, and so I went through just kind of touching and killing the ghosts and running and like, what is the point? Like touching each one at first to try to see if there's anything and just opening up these ghosts and like, what the hell is the purpose of this? Like I thought there was going to be an old man here in like the grave or something according to what they said earlier.
Right. Yeah. So you have the tip. That's right. So you have a reason to come. Yeah.
So I'm cycling through and then I end up like finding someplace else through here. So I was like, okay, this was just, I guess, the place I needed to go through. And then so when I came back again,
you mean through as in outside of the graveyard?
Yeah. Like
because there is a second headstone. There is a second stairway here. I'm not even sure what's down there actually, but I didn't know that. There's a second. The top left one has a stairwell too to something, a door charge guy or something, and I never knew that. I caught that Googling around.
So there, I may have even found that. Like I may have even found that because I was thorough in the bottom left one and the upper left one, but not the other two. And so I think the upper
left one is where it's
so I think I found that, and then like when I came back through, I was trying to, the first time I just went through. The second time I went through thoroughly and was like getting chased by all these ghosts.
I would love. Is it an old man of any kind? I'm pretty sure it's clearly not a moblin. A coward moblin, otherwise I would have got that getting the Chivo. Yeah. So it's probably an old man, which means that kind of satiates whatever the fuck that tip was, that there's an old man in the graveyard to talk to. So that's a really red herring, throw you off thing, actually, then, that he's there in another one. That's wild.
Yeah, and I clearly didn't write it down because whatever it was like thorough on those two, and then I just said fuck the other two.
I mean, it's got to be a door charge or a money making game, one or the other. The only options, who cares?
I think it was a door charge thing because, and I was very excited to tell you guys this, like the moments when I understand where the name of these episodes came from, it wasn't until now when I was going around trying to find the secrets that I kept finding those guys all of a sudden. I was like, what the? Now these freaking guys are everywhere. Like, like I'm sick of seeing these guys.
I told you, you never don't feel like absolutely robbed, even though it's like a meaningless amount of money. It is still like it's amazing how much of an emotional it has to it. Like,
so I'm pretty sure that's what happened because like the other two like graves where you would have found the Master Sword. I tried like one. I was like, this is pointless now. Like
this isn't worth it. Yeah. This isn't worth it. Even for the Master Sword, this isn't worth it.
Had I known.
That's fucking great. Well, if you can find it, there you go down, and the guy says the old man is there, just like with the white sword. He says the exact same thing. Master using it, and you can have this. And by mastering it, only means you need 12 heart containers. So that you can get it if you're going in chronological order. That's basically all the secret hearts plus 4 dungeons, so that's exactly why I went straight there after I came out of the 4th dungeon, because I had all the hearts, and like Nick said, he had to go around a couple more to do the same thing. But yeah, I mean it's interesting that like it basically it required correct.
Did I even leave? Did I even finish the game with 12?
No, I saw yours. You're missing 3. You only got 15. Crazy. You finished the game with 15 based on the set.
Okay, so I could have got it. I could have got
You could have gotten it for the end. Yes, okay. You're all right. But yeah, it's just I guess it's kind of determining like if you want to get it like the math thing. Like to me, like where you have to have it is starting in 8. I think, Nick. That's kind of where like I think 7 you can get through with the white sword and your life's not gonna be miserable. In my mind, like I have to have that to get through 8 and not want to kill myself. Unless I'm using a map or I just have it wrote by memory, which I do not. So like I spent, we'll get to it, but 8 was a wander for me for sure and very trying, and I had to come in and out I think a couple times to get fucking potions and shit. So not having the Master Sword for that would be a real bear, I think. And 9, absolutely miserable. So
yes,
to have it prior to going into level 8. You're going to have to get at least one hidden one, and that's not counting the one out on the dock, basically, is kind of the way that maths out, and I think that feels like a very deliberate design choice to me, as far as what you need to get this thing. So with it, you are now doing 4 damage, and that kind of maths out to one-shotting the red Lionels. The blue ones are 2. And a 3rd connect with it is the most you need for anything that's not a boss in the game. Is kind of what that means to your play experience, having the magical sword. So how does that sound, Jay? Does it sound like it's been better?
Dude. Unbelievable. Like It's funny to me that you say that because my life definitely wasn't miserable. Like I did not struggle. Like I really didn't struggle. There were clearly moments in dungeons that were harder that I took a lot of hits, but like the thought of doing
and
twice
did you
as
get
much damage? Oh my gosh!
I didn't look. Did you get the red ring or no?
Yeah, I got the blue ring.
Okay.
Eventually, like right before Cave 7, I got the blue ring.
But not the red ring. The red ring is what I'm talking about. That's the second ring.
Yeah, I think I got the red ring first and then the blue. Isn't that how it works?
No, I never tried that actually. I don't know what happens if you buy the blue ring after you get the red ring from the dungeon. I've never thought about that in my entire life, and I guess it's possible.
Backtrack.
Wait a minute, which one is better? Now I'm like confused. Wait a minute.
The red ring is better. What did you finish? What's on your status update? What's in the is it red or blue in the line above your selectable weapons?
Oh man. It is red. It's red.
Okay. Yeah, because the thought of, again, 9, going through 9 and not having the red ring or the Master Sword is incredible sounding.
I got the red.
Okay. But it's also incredible to think that, yeah, I would love to know what happens when you drop that 250 fucking rupee purchase on the blue if you already have the red. I can't imagine it takes it from you, but that would be amazing.
That would be
that would be crazy.
That would suck because of all the money, and it'd be like you can't get the red ring back, or maybe you. I don't.
That's a great question too. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just no. I feel like it's game breaking, and I feel like the fucking screen might just shut down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing I was missing was the Master Sword eventually, so we're good.
Okay. Word. Well, not a concern of your guys', but the only other thing on the overworld to really talk about from my perspective was getting that coward Moblin Chivo situation. And there's 14 of them that I had to go around and round up to finalize them. And there were a handful that I never knew about and they were like, just, absolute bush burning. Most of them were in Death Mountain, basically, that I hadn't found. Is really what it amounted to. And yeah, first of all, none of them were big numbers even. I think, actually, check that. One of them was a hundo that I didn't know. I thought there were only 2 hundos. I think there's a third that you can get that I had never discovered before. So that was, I guess, a little bit of a come up. But for the most part, not worth the fucking randomly out just spamming shit to find them. But
yeah, not up there.
Yeah, did feel good to get the Chivo. I did find that also doing that, looking at that same map that I finished the last ones off with. I did find there's another shop. Like I think it's one for one the same as the corner forest or the corner on the southeast corner of Lake Hyrule where you get the cheap shield. Basically, It's the exact same shop, and it's up by the Letter Old Man. So like that little once you go up and hang the right, that kind of beelines over to the Letter Old Man, and then that dead end with the tree and the secret bridge up to the Moblin. Right where you hang the right, there's a place you can bomb that shop is in too, which is pretty good to know another location for that fucking shield, because going through levels 6, 7, and 8, you're going to probably need another one. Yeah. So that would have been good to know, I think, as a tot.
I know in the second quest, the letter is up there, like past level 9. Like it's on the upper reaches of Death Mountain to get the medicine. So you have to get all the way up there without. It sucks, man.
It's a hidden thing, or is it another?
I'm pretty sure it's a hidden cave that you have to go up there and find, like,
to get the letter.
It was maddening.
That's intense.
Like,
Which, I mean, it's still the same layout though, right? So you can't get up there without the ladder.
Yeah.
And do they rejigger the ladder so it's earlier in the dungeon?
That I don't remember, but I just remember it being a royal pain in the butt because.
Well, I'm sure Jay already started playing the second quest. Jay, which now time to put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner down in the underworld. And we resume that effort in Labyrinth 5, the Lizard Dungeon. And this is the one the little old lady, living in the hovel behind the waterfall breadcrumbs you to, if you come correct on financial remuneration anyways. And for this, you have to walk to the screen one click east of the waterfall. And this is like more mountain terrain with a bunch of rocks, no enemies. And then you walk up the path to the north for 5 screens in a row. So it repeats, very Lost Woodsy-like. And then we get the secret discovered queue after doing that. And it reveals the screen with the labyrinth entrance. Heading down into here, this is where we first meet the Pole's voice, which are i.e. the bunny webbits. And
Yeah.
Nick, did this excite you in your Archer Link roleplay?
That's right. Finally, it's the moment
Payoff.
we've all been waiting for. Yeah, it's interesting because, I'm excited to use it on these. They're easy to kill if you have the bow, of course. Otherwise, they do take quite a bit of damage.
Shit, I think they got 11 HP. They have they are tanks if you're trying to kill them with swords.
Yeah, so they're a real pain in the butt, and the bow really helps out. But that's about it in this dungeon. The rest of the enemies just, I guess except for the little bats, but not really that useful, man. This is a brief moment to be able to use. I don't know.
To get the payoff.
Yeah.
It is also the first appearance of what I have termed tunnel bridges.
Sure.
Are here for the first time. And these have a lot of emotional weight for me because every time you see one, it's like the disappointment of it not being a treasure room, basically. You see those stairs down, and you have been conditioned in the first half of the video game that means I'm going to get something cool now. And then you go down into these, and it's just 2 little fucking bridges, and it's taking you to some other probably shittier part of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real fucking bummer that you're not adding anything to your subscreen.
Yeah. What about, did you guys stock up on bombs here with the extra bomb spot?
Of course. Did you have the bigger question? You're gonna find them. I was actually wrong about that, Jay. I was thinking that I was thinking the one was harder to find. The second one, not this one, but the second one I was thinking was harder to find. But there's also the fact that you have to have 100 rupees on hand to engage this dude in commerce, and that's not a given, I don't think, in the middle of the game like this. So, did you have the hundo, Jay?
I absolutely did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was no problem. I think at this point, there was like 2 points in the game, and this is one of them where I had like max rupees because remember I'm going around. I had just gone around testing, trying to find stuff, trying to burn stuff.
That's a nice.
So I was walking around with rupees looking for stuff to buy. You know what I mean?
Rupees burn a hole in my pouch.
Yeah. Absolutely. I got the whistle. Didn't know what it did at this point.
Well, that's good.
The bomb and 12 bombs. So, although I will say, the bombs to me were quite disappointing. I never got to actually like in dungeons. Yes, like I used them all the time. Super useful within dungeons. In the overworld, I ended the game missing out on 90% of whatever bombing must have gotten me. That's all.
Oh.
It's tough. I had a thought about that like that bottleneck is like it's one of the most inconvenient things about the game. I think that is like such an important part of being able to access so many things in the game, and it's such a small number. And yes, you can increase it a little bit here, and it does make those upgrades feel great, which is a positive, I suppose. Just something like the emotional spectrum of playing Legend of Zelda, but. It is probably one of the more frustrating things about this game, I think, is like the need in the dungeons. These 8 and 9, you have to bomb every wall. You basically have to bomb every fucking wall if you want to actually get through it to find everything. So it is just a real bottleneck that's very frustrating, I think. And I spent a lot of time. I actually learned something that I never knew. I can't wait to tell it to you guys. There's just no way you guys know this. I saw some whatever the fuck. Late stage finalizing my notes here. I found this thing that like a trick for making bombs generate that I never knew, and it blows my mind it exists. And I didn't even fence test it, but it was from a reliable source. I can't remember what it was until we get there in my notes. I guess maybe I wrote it down. But Yeah, it is a wild thing that I think is going to blow your fucking mind. And it would have been so nice to know when I was, out bombing every fucking wall in dungeons, because it would have made, because like, when you do that, there's nothing, you basically are just fucked. You just have to okay, I have to stop trying that now and just wander around. And the dungeons don't even really let you, because the enemies stay gone for longer. It's not like the overworld. It's not as easy to just grind, basically, in the dungeons.
You have to leave and come back, I think, to respawn the enemies.
Right. So you would have to just give up, essentially, that exploration pursuit that you might have been on in whatever part of a big dungeon. You kind of just have to, fuck it up, maybe come back if I remember that. If I'm not, another reason to be making maps, maybe, perhaps, so you could fucking note, I need to come back here and try these walls, would be another useful purpose for mapping, above and beyond the no need that we talked about last time. But yeah, just a very frustrating thing, the bomb shit. So this is very welcome, maybe, or that is very welcome, is ultimately the point. There is a 3 Dodongo mini-boss battle here with absolutely no fucking payoff whatsoever. And these things, I think, actually, especially the 3 one, the one that splits into 3, is one of the more harrowing things that I encountered with my fucking 8-bit D-pad problem. It's the same problem as with the Dark Nuts. The knee, they have, the armor on the front, and not splitting into the thing. There's 3 Dodongos, just the Triceratops. I was thinking the Dig Dogger when I said that. But basically, these Dodongos have the armor, and then you gotta quickly navigate a very tight turn around them to stab them from the side. It's just like the Dark Knight, same kind of concept where you have the armored front and you need to quickly dodge them. And if your D-pad is not up to snuff, those are just so frustrating, just so not dependable battles, and so fucking frustrating. And yeah, that was a big problem with these things that I thought of fucking dealing with them. But yeah, you don't need to fight them. You can just, there's nothing over there you need to do. You can just skip over those. Yeah. And that's actually, there's another one later on, I think in Dungeon 8, it's the same thing. You don't need any time after that first boss battle against the one, you don't actually need to engage these fuckers. They are senseless. You can either bomb around them or just whatever's behind them theoretically is not, you don't need to access. So I thought that interesting that they were so optional.
The only thing I can think of is if you use that stun them and kill them trick to force them to drop a bomb.
Right.
Yeah, to me, I feel like I had to kind of kill everything.
Well, that's not a bad policy, and I think it's either this dungeon or the next where that it's important to do that. Yes, actually, it is this one. That's how you get the compass. Yeah. This is the first dungeon where the compass and map aren't just visible when you walk into the room. You have to kill all the enemies in the room that it's located in to make it appear, which means until you have those things, you just have to kill every enemy, or you'll never fucking find them. So that is very important because in the first 4 dungeons, if you see a room of shit you don't want to deal with and you can get through it, it's not one of the it's locked because there's enemies rooms, you can just fucking blow through it and ignore those things. So yeah, here that option kind of goes away. And that obviously is also a very clear, deliberate design choice to up the ante on how difficult it is.
And that's part of exploring in your first time through, where you're just sometimes, keys or whatever will appear. So it's worth a try at first. But once you know better, then you can just be like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yep, 100%. Don't need to fuck with these Dark Nuts. Fuck them.
Yes. Whenever possible.
Yep. So the little old man chatter here, there are uno dos tres of them in this dungeon. There is Dig Dogger hates certain kinds of sound, and that is telling you about the boss that I was thinking of when I talked about the Dongos. And then there's a guy that says secret power is said to be in the arrow, and this one is found in the lizard's eye. That guy's found in the lizard's eye, and then there's the bomb guy, of course.
Yeah, which
he says, I bet you'd like to have more bombs, which is a great fucking line, I think.
And I'm assuming the arrow one, right? You think that's right above a room full of Pole's voice, so I assume that's what they're getting at there.
I agree. Yeah, and which is that's whatever. No, that's super useful because it is such a damage differential, and there's nothing other than this line. I mean, that would make you unless you're out being Archer Link. There's really no other reason to go maybe I should try arrows on the bunnies.
Right.
But also what that might teach you is to be a little more exploratory also.
Yeah.
With your sub weapons, you know what I mean? So that's also probably a plus.
I was going to say,
kind of steer you in that
because
direction.
of that, I'm absolutely trying the arrows on everything just to see what they do. Like, how much damage or none are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jay, you mentioned the whistle is our subscreen addition for this dungeon. The tips and tactics description for that is this magic item creates a many mysteries with its unusual sound. By playing the whistle to call a tornado, you can warp to an unobstructed entrance to the underworld. The tornado will also clear your path. And there's some serious vagueness in a lot of that, but it's hinting at it being the key to revealing levels. Labyrinth 7 is what they're talking about with clearing the path. Bullshit. An unobstructed entrance to the underworld, like, it doesn't change an obstruction. It just takes you to the screen, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of a weird clue because it's like it will warp you to dungeons you've completed. So, but I don't see how unobstructed clarifies that at all. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably just a translation snafu would be my best guess.
Yeah.
So you heading into the boss battle there, you have to enter that boss battle room from that door to the right, and this is the only boss arena I can think of where there is an open door to an area you have not been that you can kind of just like frantically skitter through into, you know, if you for whatever reason decide that the boss battle is too much for you and you don't want to, like, maybe there's something down there and I'll just go check that out first, or whatever reason you would have for not just fighting. You have that option here, and it's pretty funny because you walk into that room and it's just a dead end. And the fucking door slams behind you, and there's nothing, you get nothing out of it, basically. So it's just a total, like, fuck you. I mean, honestly, I was also thinking, though, there's a flip side of that coin. It's just a room full of the Vyres. And really, like I said, those dudes in these later dungeons are one of the more reprieve enemies that you can find. Yeah. And it might just be an opportunity to whatever, mine hearts a little bit. So maybe it is actually an olive branch from the developers. But the emotional response of just walking to that room, it being dead end and the door slamming behind you was like, oh, you motherfuckers. So whatever, get through that, go up and deal with Dig Dogger himself. The description for this cat is giant sea urchins. If a Dig Dogger receives shockwaves, its huge body shrinks. However, he has strong offensive power. Shockwaves are Dig Dogger's weakness. You may be able to find out more about it from someone in the land of Hyrule. And my little idiot child brain never once, or as an adult, I suppose, ever thought of sea urchin when I saw this thing. Yeah. So that was a wild, whatever, real life fucking organism connection that the literature of antiquity here made. That was kind of surprising to me. I never was.
I remember reading that as a kid and being like, well, I've never seen a sea urchin, so I'll
if you say so. If you say so, right, yeah. So yes, our little old man chatter from this labyrinth is the key to toppling this creature. And the certain kind of sound is tooting your whistle, which shrinks him from a giant sea urchin and vulnerable to attacks into a tiny sea urchin you can bang on with your sword. And it's only HP 8. So if you have the Master Sword, Jay, whack whack. If you don't, it's more.
It's more.
Right.
But still not hard.
Yeah, as long as you get the whistle, it's pretty intuitive and pretty simple. We are then heading to Labyrinth 6. This is the Dragon Dungeon, and this baby is up in the deep Death Mountain area, just east of the graveyard. Has a really cool gray exterior facade deal, and it's easily my favorite looking dungeon entrance. Just a really cool compared to the others with that color scheme.
Yeah, and did you know there's another entrance to it under one of those armos?
Yes,
I
found that.
Did not know that. I did not know that, actually. Yep.
It's super weird. There's just stairs under there, and you go through them, and you just...
On that screen, you mean?
Yeah, and you just go into the dungeon, and it's, like, pointless and weird, and I don't know why it's there.
I thought it would take you
does sound kind
to
of familiar,
a different part
actually,
in the dungeon. I thought for sure. I was like, ooh, I'm going to find, like, a secret side.
Back door! Like found the fucking back door!
Special room, you know, with something good. Nope, just to the entrance. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, what could possibly be the meaning of that? I don't know. Especially, like, it'd be super cool if it was on another screen, you know? That would, like, again,
something.
that would satiate the backdoor idea. I don't know. I can't think of a justification for that or a reason to do it. Well, moving inside, welcome to the fucking Wizrobe Thunderdome. They're everywhere. There's fucking Wizrobes everywhere here, and they're awful. And right there with the Dark Nuts, probably the worst enemy in the game, I think.
Yeah.
Especially when in large packs combined with often bubbles and likes. And it's just an absolute shitstorm.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think for this reason, the devs very deliberately put a little old lady medicine shop just outside of this dungeon that I would frequent on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah, well, that's very kind of them.
Yeah, the like descriptions for them in the tips and tactics shit say the blue ones are worse and more unpredictable, and I kind of push up against that. Like, I think because the yellow ones just blip in anywhere.
Yeah.
And kind of like those fucking things in the desert that just can pop up underneath you and there's no warning for it. In the same way, those are very unpredictable and more frustrating as a result. The purple ones are a pain in the ass. They quickly can just fucking change direction and move diagonally, and that sucks, of course. But at least you can see them the whole time.
Yeah.
And also, the teleporting nature of the other ones, like, on top of you sucks, but it's also just as frustrating and bad to have them appear far as fuck away that you cannot reach and never get to before they're going to blip out again. So you basically, they're harder to track down in that regard, too, on top of the body crash stuff.
You're looking at this from the perspective of one of the halves with the
the top 1%. You're looking at this, exactly. The top 1%er.
Exactly. For me, I'm like, give me the freaking yellow ones, orange, whatever, any day, because they take way less hits than the freaking blue ones.
That's true.
Which I'm just like battling around the screen, dodging. Like, I hate those things so much.
I mean, with the bubbles, that's what I mean, dude. To not have the fucking Master Sword for those combinations of bubble, like, and whiz robes. I mean, they're fucking bullet sponges, and they're taking your sword from you left and right, and you're always at the stress fucking risk of having your shield taken from you. But that's just a flat question. In the last 4 dungeons, how many were you prioritizing maintaining a magic shield? Was that important to you, Jay? I guess maybe that's a prior question.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. How many times was it taken from you? And did you just rewind every time? I guess maybe is yet another question.
Oh, I did a lot of using the wand and spellbow on them too.
Okay.
That helped, but they sucked.
Yeah, the likes, that was something I also really got wandy about too, because you can just, the persistent flame is very helpful with them. They're susceptible to that as well. So
I'll take all the extra damage I can.
Good tactic for them. Amen. There is a 3-headed Gleeok mini-boss in the upper left corner of this dungeon. And it was bombs, actually. Sorry, maybe the wand does work. It was bombs. That I thought maybe the bombs would be a way to fucking expedite these things and kill them all in, like, bunches. But no.
Yeah.
Impervious to bombs. So, Suck City.
If you...
You can bomb through the wall and just avoid it.
Yeah, that's what I was like, nope.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of the mini-boss stuff... Again, like I said, with that, there's a lot of chances to just, like, if you're not just fucking bum rushing everything and you're trying to, like, be strategic and, like, find easier ways around things. There's a lot of that where you can just kind of skip over these little mini boss situations and a lot of situations and make your life easier if you think to try it,
Yeah.
The wand is here, though, just one click up and to the right from that Gleeok. And if you're picking everything up in the game in order, getting this completes the selectable box on the subscreen. And for an anal antenna beauty stacker like me, that's a very hot thing to see. The tips and tactics description for the wand reads, Wizrobe, an enemy in the underworld mazes, uses this wand. With the magic wand, Link can cast magical spells. Link can also use this wand instead of the beamless sword. It is a very valuable treasure. And I didn't read that until I was doing my notes after I finished the game. And I wish I had, because I would have adopted that policy earlier of trying to use it on everything, because it really is a 1-for-1 basically, and that is fucking amazing to me that I've never thought that or played that way. Is such a big upgrade. To be deploying that.
You lose your magical sword, it is wand time.
Yeah.
And it's fun that it's like the exact same attack as the... I don't know, it's something they do with the arrows with the moblins and the boomerangs with the gorillas, and here you have the same, like, wave as the Wizrobes where it...
throwing it back at them, basically. Yeah. Learning their skill and throwing it back at them.
A la Mega Man-ish, which I'm always in support.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The little old man chatter down here, there are 2 of them. The first is right by the entrance in the dead end, and he says, aim at the eyes of Goma. That's just a little wee boss battle tip there. And then the dead end you hit if you're just trying to beeline to the Triforce marker has another, and he says there are secrets where fairies don't live, i.e. the next dungeon entrance is beneath that empty fairy pond, power player. To get to the boss battle, you have to do a tunnel bridge deal off the tip of the dragon's little baby arm on the map. Like if you're really calling this a dragon, I guess that's the only thing I can interpret that as, is one of the little baby arms. So you go through there, and then that drops you in the top right corner for the 3-room boss approach that's otherwise inaccessible, which is the first time that, too, where you're like, you can kind of like, you can see that marker, and you can try to just head to it, straight, and then learn that, like, oh shit, I'm nowhere. That's the first time in the game where that's the first time where you could do that. And there's so much of that, like the bomb and everything, and like bombs can get me anywhere I need to get in these dungeons, basically. There's so much of that in the first 5 that, it can be a real, like, fucking metal shutter coming down on you, like, oh, well, gonna have to try another thing here.
Yeah.
So I would have the terrible misfortune of getting got by a like here. So, like,
really?
I'm playing for the fucking purpose of the podcast, so, like, I was heading back. Like, I had found the boss, basically. I'd found the thing, got over there, teleported to the boss area. I'm like, well, I haven't done all the rooms. I need to fucking get everything for the podcast. So I go fucking back to the back through the tunnel bridge to go find that second old man, basically, just to get that stupid line of dialogue to write down in my fucking notes. And I got caught by the fucking like. It was like a situation. It was a bubble like situation. So, like, you see yourself get hit by the bubble. You know that, like, okay, I'm not gonna have the shield for a second. And, like, the way I got bopped, I could see that the like was coming, and I knew I didn't have the sword. And, like, I could just see it all happening in slow motion. And then, like, you're in there, and you're not gonna be able to attack, and you're just like, you just gotta sit there, and you're just like, fucking, I'm like hitting the button a million fucking times, nothing's happening. And it's just like the maximum level, I guess, maybe, of, again, just the way the game can make you feel like you're having something just ripped from you. It was such a, I don't know. And it's a poetic, beautiful moment of tragedy, I suppose, maybe is the way to say it.
Yeah, it's a tale as old as time,
Yeah, the 80s game gods were a ruthless deity. So as the little old man foretold, our boss battle is versus the mighty Goma in this labyrinth, and the tips and tactics description for this organism reads, huge crabs inhabiting the underworld mazes. Goma can repel any kind of attack with their hard shells. However, Goma has a weakness. If you attack a Goma's weakness with a certain weapon, you can beat it. What is Goma's weakness? What kind of weapon should you use? And perhaps said weakness is what the little old man explicitly told us to do.
Duh.
Or to aim at, I should say. And yeah, man, you can, like, if you have your bow out and ready to go, you can drop that dime on this motherfucker in, like, less than a second. You basically walk in the room and his peeper is just open waiting. And if you just walk in and hit that button immediately, it's dead. Easily the fastest boss in the game. Easily.
What?
Yeah, no, not for you.
What? That was
tough. You don't know to do it,
not
Jay.
my experience, dude.
Really?
This boss took me a while, man. I tried the bow first. I must have just been hitting its shell because, like, I kept hitting. I'm like, what? Well, no. I knew from the tip that I needed to hit the eye, but either I was hitting it, like, right when it was closing, or, like, right to the left of it, and it was just, like, not quite dead on. So, like, at first, for a while, I was like, this is not working. So I went back to the sword. And I was like, what the hell, man? So, like, tried again, switched back to the bow, and was like, all right, let me just try it again. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong. And then, finally aimed it up right and got it. But, oh my gosh, it took so long. It was such a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Yeah, I was happy to bust out my trusty bow again, but this, like Josh had said, that was something I feel like I remember reading at Nintendo Power probably before I even played Zelda, but it was like, just start hitting B as soon as the screen is scrolling, and as soon as you come out, you can just glad him as soon as it starts. And
there's actually, because it's in that advanced, we'll get to it when we do the tips and tactics read part of this, but there's 2 of those that are like kind of, I don't know, they're not in-game tips. That's like exploitive of the game engine, basically. And it's interesting. Like it's kind of one of those, I guess. You know, like I said, we'll revisit this when we talk about that later. But like I hadn't made that connection, but it is kind of exploitive of that like moment that you have to survey things before shit gets rolling when you walk into a new room.
Oh yeah,
or onto a new screen, you know. And yeah, it's kind of one of those situations, I think. So, well, yeah, if you don't know that, if you don't know he's going to be there, and you don't have it ready to go, and whatever. I mean, you know, Jay doesn't even know that he's fucking walking into the boss arena, probably. I guess it's right by the fucking red dot, but still, yeah.
I'm not immediately like ready to attack. You know,
right.
Gotta assess the situation, see what it's going to do.
Yeah.
We now move into Labyrinth 7. This is the demon map. And yes, you have to go to that. There's the western ferry near the Lost Woods, and then directly to the west of that. So you gotta walk down over one and then back up is a empty pond. You blow the whistle here, and I believe it gives us the secret tune, and the water disappears, and there's a stairwell there in the dry pond bed. And I had actually forgotten to replenish my fucking magic shield, so I would do this one also without a magic shield, begrudgingly.
Oh.
Raw dog of sorts. And that was kind of one of those things. Just, you know, you don't realize it until you're fucking halfway to the dungeon. You're like, fuck! I'm not gonna go back out. I'm not gonna spend the time to go back out.
I was proud of myself for remembering the meat. I'm almost every time I feel like I always forget. I'm like, all right, level 7, let's go get this done. And then
I don't need that.
I get in there.
So I told you I get it early. That's why I get it early.
It's worth it, man,
list.
because I always am like, damn it, like it's not on the way to this dungeon from level 6, so I don't think about it.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Wait, what? What's not on
the bait, the meat?
Yeah, I need the bait shops.
Freaking A. That's what happened to me. I did not have the bait coming into this.
Yeah, because how would you know?
I mean, I don't know. You guys did a whole episode of a podcast, a 5-hour podcast, with a guy that was talking up that you need to get in the beginning. So I don't want to hear any excuses.
Like I said, as you said in the beginning of this episode, like, what is the usefulness of this bait? Like, it for enemies, like, no, I'm just going to kill them. Forget this bait. Like, this is silly. So I was super, super pissed off getting to the Mr. Grumble and just kind of sitting there like, what am I doing here? And
another iconic, all-time iconic screen. Yep.
So when you got there, were you like, oh, I need the meat? Or were you just like, what the hell?
Right, yeah. Did you even know?
I didn't know what to do. I was trying everything. And then I just had to go to the strategy guide. Like, what am I missing? And then when I realized it was the bait, I knowingly left the dungeon, went around, finally found the bait, which was also the location of the blue ring vendor. So I was actually excited at that point because I did not have that yet.
Okay.
And so...
Oh...
Whoa!
So I grinded there immediately because of that. And Link's outfit turned blue. Like, for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. Like, now his outfit is... Or, no,
white.
Blue. For me, it was now blue because of the ring.
So you made it through level 5 and 6 without any ring?
Am I colorblind? He's white.
He would turn white later, but like right now, like or maybe you're not. Maybe you're just not seeing it correctly. But for me, like, he turned blue because the minute I got the ring, I was excited that his cloak changed the colors.
He does change, yeah. He does. His tune does change, which is cool. Sorry, Nick, you were saying.
Oh, I was just kind of amazed that Jay went through levels 5 and 6 without the blue ring. Like, that's impressive, man.
Yeah, I mean,
and rough.
Sounds fucking miserable. Like I said, that's my first priority because it is just. I mean, yeah, you know what that really does. It's whatever you're battling, you take damage, whatever. It's the game, no big deal. And whether it's, I mean, it's still obviously nicer to take less, but
yeah,
like the thing that the rings really do is when you get into those fucking again that goddamn term body crash situations where there's like something happens where you get it like it's just banging you around, like it like makes that actually tolerable to have happen to you. You know. Yeah. Right. It allows you to get through that without getting totally fucked over, you know. But if you don't have those, and like those, getting fucking into those rooms where you have wizrobes body crashing you from all fucking angles.
I will say, I was as frustrating as it was to have to leave the dungeon to go out and find all this. in Dungeon 6, I had gotten to the point, like with those dark nuts and stuff, where I was like, man, I know in the manual these rings I need. So that's why I was excited.
Yeah.
Even though I was like
annoyed
to look for bait, I was excited that there was my shield armor.
Well, when you get back to it and you're actually traversing this dungeon in full, you will learn that it is mini boss central. And yeah, I mean, I think generally level 7 is kind of where it gets real, which makes sense. It's third act basically of the dungeons, 7, 8, 9. You know,
Yeah,
it makes total narrative sense. But like, I think you can feel it. I think it is a very tactile difference in difficulty and just the scope of the map. Like, they're just bigger. I think
yeah,
at a whole other layer of big. And like, yeah, just generally speaking, that you can feel the uptick going from 6 to 7. I feel a great deal. And yeah, one of the reasons here is because there's fucking mini bosses everywhere. There are 3 dig doggers, 2 pairs of moldrums, 1 trio of dodongos, and a partridge and a pear tree. There's actually 2 trios of dodongos, but it wouldn't have been able to do my dumb little Christmas joke there. And yeah, you can walk right past the dodongo pack in both cases, like I said. And yeah, it's just funny to me that is a fucking, they kind of like know that those are just whatever, just kind of bomb sucks, and they allow you to skip them if you're smart enough or whatever, strategic enough to try to do so.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is also where I learned the wand thing for the moldrums. And yeah, you can just fucking, I mean, you walk into that one room and it can just like literally stand the other side of it, and they like appear and like kind of split and do their little whatever fucking dance thing, and you don't ever need to get anywhere near them with the wand, which is beautiful.
Yeah. One thing that's nice about this dungeon, even though it is full of, like you said, mini bosses and so many gorillas, but there are a few, but there's not a lot of them that you're like always forced to fight. You can just be like, screw it, I'm running by, but which is nice, but it's still very large, so you have to like conserve.
I would say also it's a grunt downtick too. There's no, it's not Wizrobes, it's not. Like you said, there's Gorias. It's not a Wizrobe Darknut party like basically the rest of this game is going to be. So in that regard, it kind of like, it's still like, yes, it's bigger. There's more shit to deal with. You get to bomb through some shit. There's that quest item problem. There's like these new elements that's putting in your way to make your path more difficult. But on the same token, they kind of like ease up a little bit on the moment to moment grunt shit because they're just Gorias and shit like that are a little easier to deal with. So even in that regard, it's like good game design and like not just like totally slamming the door shut on your fucking progress. Right. Little old man chatter here. There is one near the beginning. He says there's a secret in the tip of the nose. Obviously, they're talking about going to the demon's nose here. And then another bomb dealer here too. He's also near the start. And you got both of them, Jay, you said? Or? Yeah. Okay. Even just buying the ring, you still already had the 100, huh? That's pretty good.
I was on it.
So one thing about the Grumble guy, and it's kind of whatever, you guys probably don't give a shit, but it bothers me that it takes from your inventory. You no longer have it in your inventory when you give it to him, which you use it however many times you use it. Otherwise, that doesn't happen.
Oh,
so
really?
Why the fuck? Yeah, it leaves your inventory when you give it to him, and it does not. Yeah, it's not a one-time thing.
Oh,
the rest.
I always assumed it was. Gosh, I've never.
No. Yeah, it's unlimited uses, or either unlimited or so fucking many. I can't imagine it's not unlimited. There's no way it's like some like arbitrary 40 times or something. It's not possible. I don't think in this game's fucking code. So yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, you can use it as many times as you want before this.
Wow.
I go out and buy it again like a fucking weirdo and buy it again, even though I know it's not going to be of any use. But I need it on my subscreen.
That is so sad.
Every time.
To me,
every
this
time.
was a one-use item. That was the use. We're done. We moved on.
Yeah.
And end of the story. Yeah, no, that's the responsible and well-rounded human being way to approach it, Jay. But that's not mine. That's not me.
Catch them all.
Yeah. There is another secret room in the top left divot on the back of the demon head. And it is, again, a paltry rupee diamond layout, just a few rupees, basically. But it's also a shortcut, again, so it saves you a key if you use that instead of putting the key there. And then you can bomb into the eye from the west side of it. And this is where the red candle can be obtained after bashing in the faces of yet another Goria gang. And this upgrade from the blue version allows you to spam as many flames as you want. It's a big-time upgrade. the Chivo name, or the Chivo for this is named Pyromaniac Link. And I think that's a pretty fun one.
Yeah, after I got this, then I would go outside. I'm like, okay, now I'm burning the countryside.
Now I am prepared to spam.
It's almost cruel that they wait so long to give you this,
right.
Where it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it is such an inconvenience to have to walk off the screen and fucking, if you're just fence testing, it's such an inconvenience. So the secret in the tip of the nose is a pretty solid humdinger, I think. So you walk in this room, it's a sideways U shape of blocks that forces you into, like, to get to the far side of it where is ultimately your goal here, whether you know it or not. You have to get, there's like just these one tile width hallways on each side, and this room is populated by a bunch of bubbles. So they're taking your sword, and if you're in that hallway, like if you aren't able to like really, partly it's just get lucky actually. The best laid plans I don't think can really 100% guarantee you're not going to get your sword taken trying to get to the other side of the room. But they pair that, and this is the only time in the game where they do this, and it's a really cool pairing, I think, with the Wall Masters. So you're in these long hallways to get to the other side, and there's also the Wall Masters coming out that will take your ass back to the beginning of the fucking level, and you may not have your sword to do anything but get picked up. And it basically creates the opportunity for exactly what I was describing with the like earlier, where you just see it coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you, like we said, you can expend them. If you know that there's only like 7 or 8 you got to kill and then they go away, obviously not as much of a problem. But if you don't know that and you presume they're infinite, you're eventually just going to be like, fuck it, I'm just going to go, and then you're at the risk of, getting taken back at the beginning, of course, which is a tough deal.
I remember this room.
That happened, Jay?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just remember this from being a kid the first time I got here. Like, those Wall Masters won't show up if you don't hang out by the wall. So I just waltzed in, and it's like, well, there's bubbles in here, and I start pushing the blocks, and it doesn't come out. And I was just like, well, there's nothing here? Like, I didn't get it. I thought I missed something. Or, it wasn't until, a few, I don't know, my second or third time going in there where I just happened to wait long enough to pull one of those hands out of the would be like, oh, I got to kill these guys. Like, I didn't even know they were there. Like,
Right. And is this, I think there's one other instance where we have this block pattern where you have to push that, because, the block you need to push to open this, get the stairway here is, it's like in the base of the U on the far side of the room from where you enter, and you have to push it from the outside. So I think that might even be unique to this particular block puzzle. Like those ones where you just have the 2 in the middle of the room and you have to push the left one. Can you push that from any direction? I think I always push them up, but I can't remember if it's possible to push them. Whatever the case, either way, you definitely cannot push from the inside in this one. I'm certain of it. So you have to push from the outside, which of course is the hardest part, the more difficult part to get to in this room. And I just, I'm trying to remember if that other instance of this particular block thing is before or after this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember. Basically, whether you know what you have to do here in this very potentially trying situation, I guess is kind of what I'm angling at here. And I'm not sure if you've been taught this yet, and this is a tough place to teach you that, I think. Or a trying place to teach you that.
Yeah.
So it does, whatever you make it appear, it reveals the tunnel bridge that you need to come out over near the boss below the demon eye. So traversing that puzzle is integral to getting this dungeon out of the way. You come over here, the boss battle, and we are back to an Aquaminus asset repurposing, and those are, of course, easy as fuck. So I actually tried the wand. I did not have hearts. This is where I also kind of learned, like, wand, same deal as the sword, basically.
Yeah.
Because you can kill him with 3 pops just as you could with the sword.
Easy peasy.
Vaped, and then we were moving on to Labyrinth 8th, the lion map. And I literally dread coming in here. I know it's a bear of a map, and a huge uptick from the previous ones. So the entrance is located. This is the one that the old man half-ass tips you off about. You got to burn that bush that's like semi-conspicuous down in the southeast forest of the overworld map.
Yeah.
Come down into here, and we have Manhandla and some Dark Nut Bubble Poo-Poo combo platter action guarding the magic book off the west of the start. The tips and tactics description for that is Link can learn magic spells from the magic book using both the magic book and the magic wand. Link can cast magic spells to create a flame. The flame can be used like a candle. And yeah, that's the other thing that's nice about this too is the candle is like I said, I think maybe really high level in the very intermediary part of the game where you're going to have the candle but not the wand with the book. Like, yes, that's basically just between these two dungeons, right? So there's really not an amount of time where you would even want to do it. But if you're doing it out of order or for whatever reason, like I maybe could speculate that the red candle is kind of like a high level way offensive potential thing because you have the unlimited flames and they are persistent and yada, yada, yada. But either way, if you're not doing that and trying to use it as an offensive weapon, which I don't think most people would be.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass to go use the candle is kind of the point. Yeah. Like it's just oh fuck, I gotta go get the candle and then go back to whatever I was doing. And that's just an inconvenient thing to do in the game. And the wand, getting this book, turns it into a candle. And the wand is obviously dope for offensive purposes, like I said, or like we've already said. So it's just a real big come up, I think, is ultimately the point to get this. And yeah, it's Manhandle City right at the start, actually, and another just to the north of that. And this is also less than stellar results with the wand. So the bombs are the way to deal with these, I think. And even then, like I said, it's kind of a chance thing. You're not sure you're going to get it. You're definitely not sure you're going to get all of it. It's possible, but it's not a guarantee. And if you're wrong, obviously it fucking picks up speed and becomes more difficult. And then you're never going to get it with a bomb once you don't get that. It's either that first one or nothing. Yeah, right, there's no way. I guess you could just spam them, but you don't. Like I said, they're a very finite resource, so you don't want to do that.
You gotta try it.
So yeah, it's just a very.
You gotta try it.
Right. But yeah, when it goes sideways, you're just kind of that spam fucking sword situation to get through those, and that's maybe not the most pleasant feeling thing. One of the more unpredictable enemies in the game.
For real.
Little old man chatter in here. We have above the blue Goma is the first one. He says Spectral Rock is an entrance to death. That's a high octane piece of the dialogue. And then the second comes right before the boss. He says the 10th enemy has the bomb, and this is it, guys. I hope you're sitting down for this. So, yeah, what the fuck does this mean? That's what I was asking going through my notes here. I just wrote it down as I was playing and, whatever, didn't devote too much thought to it. But doing the notes, I'm like, well, what does that mean, actually? And this is actually a pretty fun podcast connection, Jay. There's the Google for it. The first return was a video from this YouTube user named KarmaJolt, who it's just gotta be, Jay, given the uniqueness of that name, like K-A-R Karma and Jolt, very unique. And there's an Instagram account that is all over our Instagram posts all the time, and it's KarmaJolt. So it's just gotta be that guy. And so his video is the first one that pops up. So that was kind of fun. Nice. Just a fun little podcast connection there. But he explains in the video that this means if you kill 9 enemies in a row without taking any damage, the 10th enemy killed with a bomb, if you kill it with a bomb, will drop more bombs, even if it normally wouldn't.
What?
Yeah, it's deceptively worded as usual here, where you're like
right.
If they mentioned you have to use the bomb, I don't know. I kind of knew of this, but it confused me when I was younger because I was like, I didn't know you couldn't get hit or that you had to use the bomb. I was like, oh, it'll
how the fuck could you?
Yeah, of course
you didn't know that. Yeah,
so I just assumed. I was like, well, this is just more BS, like half of these other clues.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I did. I mean, I don't know, guy. I mean, the simple fact that you're suggesting you even thought about it blows my mind. Whether that's an actual visceral memory or just an assumption of yourself as a child. In either case, I know for a fact, as a kid, I would have read this and been like, don't know, don't care, right. Okay, bye. Yeah, not even going to devote a second of trying to get to the bottom of what the hell that means. I got Zelda to play. So yeah, I think it's completely useless information. No way you could connect it to the actuality of the flowchart to enact this tip, Yeah, it's a wild to me that they tried to give us this information via this means in game. It's so far from who possibly, even them, how could they possibly read that as the developers and have any thinking that a single human being could figure out what that means in practical
because
application.
That old man is like Jesus, like he speaketh in parables, like only the ones in the
yeah, man, I guess
get this.
Sure, within the role play, but again, like the intent there from the developer has to be to inform you of this thing. Like what other? There's no other that this has got to be right for what it is supposed to mean. But I just don't see how even the most intelligent, well-versed Legend of Zelda player connects those dots.
But that's what I mean. I feel like it's like I feel like something like that is a specific because it actually apparently works somehow. It's got to be one of those Easter eggs, like you might figure it out, but you're probably not going to figure it out, kind of things that they just kind of drop it in there, like, well, let's see how many people can actually get this, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and the answer is zero. I mean, I guess, yeah. You could add, like, again, yeah, like, you know, you're the all-knowing whatever as the developer. And, like, I guess it's possible to make the design decision that, like, they're never going to figure it out. Yeah. But once they get the tip spoon-fed to them at some point, and they're able to draw it back to this, that would be a cool little moment. You could maybe make that justification, you know. But yeah, going just the proper direction through that flowchart, no way. And here's a cool side note. So if you do all that, you kill 9 enemies in a row without taking any damage, and you kill the 10th one not via a bomb, but with another weapon, it will give you a blue rupee every time. So the 5 rupee rupee. So, yeah, you can totally manipulate your enemy drops if you really want to work that flowchart over and over and over again. Which, if you're probably, if you want to whatever, get really high level about that, like speedrunners and shit probably are doing that for the, I mean, well, I guess, no, a speedrunner isn't even going to do any grinding because none of the things you would grind for in this game. Well, no, that's not true. You know, you have the quest item and the bait, so you have to have that, I think, right? You can't bomb through that situation. You have to have that bait. So, even a speedrunner would have to get the bait.
And I'm sure that, like, you know, you're going to have to kill at least 10 monsters. So it's like focusing, like, to be like, okay, I want to make sure I get a bomb or a coin, whichever I want the most, as you keep this counter going in your head. It's like, that's right. Makes my brain hurt. But
Exactly. Yeah, it makes you want to take a fucking nap just to think about playing a video game that way. Yeah, I don't know. Another little cool note, too, about this. I mean, how to even describe this? Sorry. Like that. So there's, like, some non-item dropping enemies, like Keese, can reset the counter or shift the drop to the next suitable enemy. So there's like even ways to kind of exploit this, I guess, even within that 10 enemy thing. Yeah. You can like string it out, take it to different enemies and make it whatever. There's like ways to even fuck with that, I guess. So just a really intricate coding thing that, again, I mean, what in the actual fuck? It's like further than like the wildest of playground rumors. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing that like someone says to you on the playground, like you're
what?
An asshole. Yeah, you're a fucking asshole to come in here with that kind of bullshit.
Don't listen to Johnny, man. His tips are whack, man.
Yeah, that kid is full of fucking shit. Yeah, that kid is full of shit. Okay, back to Legend of Zelda. So getting up into the Lion's Tail is only accessible by bombing, and there's a secret room up here. And this one is just rupees. No helpful shortcuts. So a particularly depressing or letdown iteration of the secret room situation. Or situations. There is a Chivo, though. You get the third one, and it is worth a Chivo. So I guess I got a little something out of it. But traditional playing does not give you anything to bother with that. The magical key is also up here, though. So this is interesting, a little thing that the tips and tactics thing, I don't know, it's just like I just never had thought of it that way. But when you get this, the letter A replaces your key in the HUD, right? And I would always thought of that as just like, it's just like literally some video game code bullshit, so you know it's not a number anymore and you have unlimited, right? Mm-hmm. The tips and tactics description actually describes it as it says very specifically, the A stands for Almighty. So it's that's what it means. It's not, the almighty key. And it's certainly a huge upgrade to not be thinking about keys anymore. Like, I've never in my life played level 9 without the magic key, I don't think. But it's gotta suck.
Right?
there are so many locked doors in there, you know. And I'm pretty sure there is enough keys well, you can buy them too. That's actually why they sell them probably. The kid without the magical key probably has to go out and buy keys from shops, which is like sounds so depressing.
Miserable. Like you probably have enough keys. You probably have enough like rupees, but just having to go do it,
right?
Like buy
the
one
act
at
of
a
it
time
is just
or whatever. Oh.
very defeating. Yeah, really fucking up your flow, your vibe for a dungeon run.
I'll tell you. I don't know if you noticed on my status update, but I did not get the magic key.
Oh, really? I did not clock.
I forgot. Like, but I had so many keys from the other dungeons. Like, I think if you look at it, like, I'm outside Ganon's room and I have 17 keys. So I was like,
really?
When I got out of this dungeon, I was like, oh shit, I forgot that key. And then I was like, well, I have so many. Screw it, you know? And I mean, granted, from that same screenshot, you can also see I didn't go to the whole dungeon. So
I would say, you kind of beelined. Yeah, I saw that.
But that's just something that I frequently don't get it because I'm doing like a not quite speed run, but I'm just trying to beat this game in under an hour. So it's just like, I don't need the key, you know.
Oh, okay.
And there's so many ways to like, you bomb around the doors in the previous dungeons that require keys, and you just keep. I mean, geez, there's like 4 of them in this dungeon alone. So like, they really throw them at you at this point, but.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I'm not obviously keeping fucking track because even that is beyond even my anal retentive BB stacking, whatever. But I do remember having the thought, like, killing some enemies in a room when I was looking for the map, maybe, and like it dropping a key, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
so like literally like, well, fucking, what the hell are those even here for? You know, so there's enough of them for that to happen. I guess is kind of the point.
It means nothing to me.
But it is good because I mean, at this point, I was like, especially in Dungeon 9. Looking at the map, you can see what rooms you've gone in and what you haven't. And so I would just open doors I didn't need to because I'm like, I've already been in that room, but I'm just going to complete it by going through this door too. Just, you know, I did that multiple times. So if I didn't have the almighty key, I would have just been wasting keys, you know? So
right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I think Nick very much qualified that
you're good.
If you're not speed running, if you actually have to explore, it's going to be a much different problem set. I expect. And I can't imagine. I mean, that's got to be the only, you know, why else would they be in shops at all? That's got to be the reason for that, you know.
Especially they're encouraging you to make maps too on top of it, right? Like if you're making a map and you really are, like I guarantee.
Well, that was just the gaming culture, Jay. Stop trying to
think about this. I'm thinking about Courtney right now. She's very much a completionist. I'm gonna every time we play together, she wants to explore the perimeter of every map first, like. She would be that person that would need all the keys to open every door. Yeah, she would need them all.
But yeah, if you don't know, you know, a first-time player, obviously, doesn't even know what they don't know, of course. And there's so much cool shit and hidden shit in this game. You'd have to almost be an idiot the first time not to explore every part of a dungeon your first time playing the game, because who the fuck knows what you're missing? You know? Yeah, you could end up finishing the game without, like, the best sword in the game or something if you're not. Who the fuck would do that? What kind of asshole? The tunnel bridge you have to find to get over to the boss area is just below that lion tail entrance. And there's a fucking... just maybe, of all the things we've talked about of, like, shitty combinations, they put a dark nut and fish statue pairing Palooza situation all over this area. So, like, you have the things already fucking firing from every direction. And remember, I'm in here without the fucking magic shield. Which, so, with the magic shield in those rooms, when you have the statue situations, you'll at least occasionally randomly deflect one just by, like, frantically moving around. Without that these things just light you the fuck up. So, yeah, these rooms were awful.
Brutal.
Another reason why.
Brutal.
Yeah. Very unpleasant. Very, very unpleasant. So yeah, I had to use both potions to get through the dungeon, and I got on like a really lucky heater late in the second potion, whatever usage or run, that I did not expect to end up on, and was very fortuitous, or otherwise I would have either died or had to go out and get the potions.
Oof.
Yeah, I was yearning for that red ring the whole time, basically. Our boss battle here is the crown jewel of the Gliok family. So yeah, it wasn't a mini boss. It is like the actual boss here is the four-header. And yeah, there's nothing to do but body fucking crash into this thing. So you said the wand does work for sure.
Yeah, I was wanding and then sorting. I don't remember.
I can't believe I didn't think to do that. I cannot believe I did not think to do
Now I don't remember like how well it worked on him, or if it was kind of like, oh, I'm going to try this, even though fire on a dragon, this is kind of silly. And then I just went back to the sword.
Well, the fire definitely doesn't do anything to him, I don't
But
think.
just the
But the
wand
wand
by
projectile
itself,
could, yeah.
So I think it hit him, but I tried it, but I think I ended up just going back, sorting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, of all the things, like, there's just no, I don't know, there's no shortcut. Like, it's usually, like, all these bosses have, like, some kind of, like, whatever, way to do it smarter. And, like, those don't have that. And it's, like, a really, I don't know, I feel incomplete almost. Like, not being able to find what that is, you know?
It's kind of you just got to get in there, get down and dirty, and start stabbing away.
So that's it. That will complete our Triforce. And we are now prepared to go tackle Ganon. And that happens in Labyrinth 9, Death Mountain. And yeah, I had to go out, I fuel back up on potions. So I couldn't just do the warp trick here. So I tried, like, I went and got the potion, then came back, and I was like seeing if I could, like, do that thing.
Yeah.
After having whatever left the fucking area or whatever. And I even, like, I went back down into the dungeon and came back out. And when I did it, it just brought me right back to the same screen. So I don't know what the exact
I think they
requirement is.
Yeah, I don't know if they're lying or not, because I was doing it back and forth, like going from level 8 to 1 back to 8, and I was like, because that was something I was really looking forward to. Is I was like, I want to see if this can, just warp you up there, and I was like, I don't know,
and it doesn't.
I couldn't get it to do it ever. So
what the fuck, man? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my presumption was that, like, it's got to be, like, coming out of getting the Triforce, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't understand why. I mean, I guess it does just, like, teleport you up there, so maybe there's, like, some little weird code differential to that flow chart. But yeah, if coming out of there it still didn't work, then yeah, what the fuck? That's the one that's in the manual too, being able to go to level 9.
Yeah,
right?
because I remember being like, I didn't know that. I'm excited to try it out, and they were like, nah, sucker.
Fuckers. Absolute fuckers. So yeah, so if that doesn't work, then you're going to trundle your ass back up the mountain one last time. And then you have to blow a hole in the left eye of Spectral Rock. And inside, we are treated to a unique music track, the Ganon Dungeon theme, which will carry us into our next segment of the pod here. And there is a gatekeeper little old man in the second room of this dungeon. And if you don't have the full Triforce, I'm pretty sure, I didn't try coming here before that was the case, but I believe if you don't have all 8 pieces of the Triforce is what the thing is. And you walk in, and I also don't know what his dialogue is. I couldn't find it. Was a surprise. Like, everything else, you can find a screenshot of anything for this game. And I could not, even like obviously playthrough vids don't have it either. I could not find what the dialogue for this was.
I think he says ones who don't have the Triforce can't come in. Or something,
so that's
to
very
that
explicit.
Effect,
that eliminates the confusion about what you need then, for sure. Okay, cool. So yeah, that is fun though. I think that they bothered to do that. Like, even if God forbid you find this fucking thing randomly early game,
well,
walk in and be like,
I ran into it as a youth because I remember thinking, I was like, this dungeon is a big pain in the butt, but I bet I could get in and get that red ring early.
Yeah,
they were like, nope, no, you're not getting in here. And I was like, damn.
And that is the thing for sure in the entire game that you would love to be able. We talked about like the whole idea of like, you can either play them like one at a time in order and like get the shit, whatever. But one of the incentives to jump around on dungeons would be, yes, obviously to get the items. And that is probably the most useful thing to get early game. That would be worth the like real motherfucker of trying to get through there with like 6 hearts or something.
I would have loved to be able to get the silver arrow earlier.
Also dope. Yeah.
You barely have it, but it's as strong as the magic sword. I'm like, man, I'd be gunning guys down left and right if I could. But
yeah, Archer Link would be balling with that. Yeah, it's tough. Tough situation. So there are fucking whiz robes, bubbles, and like galore in here. Occasionally they give you a reprieve with Zols and Fires, and it's a very welcome sight when they do, but it is by no means the norm. And yeah, this is where, in here is where I really started leaning heavily on the wand stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's just no way to keep your hearts up in here. Basically, So yeah, it's the only way to give yourself some fucking projectile shit that actually works on things. Mapping in here, again, this also, like, very much I'm going through here, and, like, there's so many of those tunnel bridges in this map that there's just no way to keep... I mean, I think by the end, I did have to do some backtracking, and I was able to remember, like, okay, I got to go to that one up in the top right, and that's going to be, like, a little bit I was able to kind of memorize, but, you know, especially probably first couple times through this game, this has got to be such a disorienting experience, and I imagine it was that for you, Jay.
It absolutely is. Like, looking at the skull, you know, going up to right. There was a point where I was like, where? Like, how do I get there? Like, I'm going on loops. Like, what haven't I done? Like, it just took so long. It was not enjoyable experience. But it was satisfying once I actually got to Ganon, briefly. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was going to say, it's okay. So, yeah, I also, same thing happened to me. Jay, I played this game a million times. I stumbled into the Ganon room without that thing we need. So, yeah, the same thing happened to me. And it's such a bummer because the door slams behind you. Basically, one of you, you're not both walking out of this room alive. And if you can't kill him because you don't have the item, who's that going to be? You know? And yeah, that same thing happened to me, and that's a motherfucker because then you go back to the beginning and da-da-da-da. Yeah,
and of course,
a real shit.
You said it correctly. Stumbled into there because I didn't save it. Like once I got in there and realized it was Ganon, then I saved it. It was like too late. I was like, oh damn it.
That's good. That's good. That's the one thing about save scumming that can fuck you. So I love that that happened to you. That's great.
It's so rude, man. Like, do we want to talk about that? Do we want to talk about this right now? Like,
no, we'll get to Ganon. Let's a few things before we get there. There's a few notable things in here first. So yeah, we get our first. There's a couple kind of mini bossy type things we see here and only here. There are the land molas, and then there are patras as well. And with the patras, those are the things like the little blue fly with the fucking shit circling them, right? I guess those are called red patras, and the one in the middle is called blue. Yeah. But you got to murk all the outer things on the outer ring before you can do damage to the one in the middle. And each one of the outside ones has 6 HP. So even with the Master Sword, you're talking about 2 hits. The White Sword, worse. So these were probably fucking really trying, I think. And then the innie is an 11 HP situation. So these are a thing for sure. And it's cool, I think, that they kind of mix up the way these work. You get the physics on their outer rings change. Yeah. With some of them, there's the one that, like, in particular, kind of exploits the third dimension. You know, by like fucking changing its flight pattern, and that's obviously that much harder to track. You know, because with the ones that where it just spins in like a kind of a known 2D circle, you can kind of hang back and just keep spamming from afar. And if you're really patient, which is hard to do with these. But if you're really patient, you can kind of get through these without any real risk. But that one with the fucking thing changes is just like, you're fucking flying by the seat of your pants there. So those are kind of tough, I think. And then Lenmolas are what? Those are the faster moving centipedes, basically. Yeah. The ones that really zip around. So again, that's another thing where you can kind of wand too from afar.
For sure.
Which is nice.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's a little old man chatter in here. Continues just like every other fucking dungeon. There's in the top right of the map, guarded by the Patra. Actually, the first Patra is the first little man. He says, "Go to the next room," which is just bombing over to another one of the billion of tunnel bridges. So I don't know. Like, I would have done that anyways, homie. You didn't need to fucking hang out down here. Let's get maybe the most useless fucking guy in the game.
I used to always debate with my friend because he would say that he's not talking about that room. He's talking about the one to the right, which is a hidden kind of off-map room where the red ring is.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
But
that is a good point.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a stretch.
It's not in that room, though, right? You have to go to that from the bottom. Maybe
yes, you do.
You still a tip, right?
Yeah, it's like it is next to it, but it's not like
right. You're right. You're 100% right, Nick. Yeah, that is 100% right. That is 100% right, actually. Great point. Whatever. It's still a good joke. I'm glad I said it. That's all that matters here. Did I laugh? And I guess secondarily, did anybody else laugh? There's another in the top left. He says, "Eyes of a Skull" has a secret. And then there's a third located in the nose-ish part of the map. And he says, "Patra has the map." So tell me to kill all those and don't just get past them, even though they might suck. The red ring is, yes, the thing that he's telling you to bomb to the next room about. And defense wins championships. So this is my top priority the moment I get in here. So definitely score that. And the cool thing too, just a little nuanced thing. When you get the red ring, I don't know if you guys clocked it or not, but it changes, and this is just like a Nintendo limited color palette technical problem, or whatever limitation. But when you get that ring, it changes the whole color palette to some degree or another, where your bow and arrow turn red also. So for whatever reason, the color that it was before, the NES cannot fucking display now that your ring is turned red on that screen. So I just thought that kind of funny. And I think it is even though it's not the silver arrow, I think there is some blue or something on the bow and arrow prior to getting the silver ring, and that's probably what it is. They have to like take all the blue out, is my guess.
Like the string of your bow or what?
Right, yeah, something like that. So that was funny to me to clock. And also a fun Chivo name for this one, Red Hype is the name of getting the red ring. Bombing into the right eye of the skeleton is tipped off pretty well by the otherwise inaccessible middle hall in that one room. So you're like, this is weird, and I don't know what it is, because one, there's clearly this instance, but I'm sure there's other situations where you can bomb downwards, but there's something about bombing down the direction of down in these dungeons that, like, I always question whether that's possible. At some point when I'm first playing the game. Like, I don't think, but whatever, for some reason I always think about that as like, that's not how it works in this game. You can't bomb down, but obviously you have to. This is the one instance where I know you have to, because it's 100% the first time I did it in this playthrough. I'm certain of it. So you have to, for this case. And yeah, you go through that little hallway that you otherwise can't get to, and then bomb into the bottom of that room, and that takes you down into the eye here. So, I don't know, it's just a little bit of it's where you get the compass, and it's just a little bit of a fucking slightly, whatever, different than everything else works situation. The dungeon cartographer is the Chivo name for this one too. Once if you get all 9 maps and compasses, the Chivo is dungeon cartographer. And that again, they just do such a good job with naming those. I think it's just so clearly, that one's not so much. That's just a fun whatever because it's about mapping. But like so frequently, they're like, could have only been thought of by someone who is just like lives and breathes the video game, you know. That, like I said, that's not an example of that, but so many of them are just so well named, I think. Very fun little sidecar to playing these old games. Getting that compass reveals that the last blip to be pursued, the one that's denoting Princess Zelda in this case, not a Triforce, is located in the left eye of the skull. And I kind of think that's just visual poetry to some degree. You know, You're in the right eye when you find that out, and then it appears over there in the left eye. And it's like, okay. Kind of like Charlock Castle in Dragon Warrior. Like, okay, right there, but just like a parallel, whatever. Get over to that to finish off the game. So, yes, you have to get that all-important silver arrow. That's in the top left. It's not off-map like the red ring is, but it is in the top left corner. And there's actually an interesting note about that, too, in the tips and tactics we'll talk about later that I had never really thought of as far as the corners of the map of the dungeons. Does that ring a bell when going through the tips and tactics? They tell you that like the corners of dungeons are very special in a lot of cases. And I had never, yes, I know that there's like the divot and the demon head. There's obviously these, like I always knew that those things were in the corners, but I'd never thought about it as like a universally reliable whatever game system.
Yeah.
You know? So that was interesting. But yeah, they're both in the corners here, basically the top and left, or top right and top left corners. Ready to face the beast is the Chivo for the silver arrow, which is also great, I think.
Yep.
So you get that, and then now, yes, Jay, let us talk about our Ganon battles. And yeah, I had the same thing happen to me on my first time in. That's a real shit. But you walk in here, and the door slams shut behind you. Link immediately whips out the Triforce of Wisdom, holds it above his head, and we get I think it's a unique music tone, actually. Like, look at this sweet bling Ganon is what I would call that. that tune. And then Ganon appears just to your left, and he, speaking of like fucking color palette things, his color palette is like a really harsh contrast. Like that, like his skin is like that really teal, whatever, blue, and then his tunic or outfit or whatever, and his facial features are like this really, really bright fucking red. And it is just like really hard to look at, I think, just as far as like color schemes go.
So, Jay, were you expecting a blue pig man?
That's a good question.
I mean, honestly, I didn't know what to expect. No, not necessarily a pig man. No, like, because, like, I don't know, with this, I feel like I never have known what Ganon ever looked like.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'm like, is he going to be a wizard? Like, is he going to be... Like, I knew he wasn't a dragon. Like, I really didn't know what to expect, but I didn't quite expect.
Wait, hold on. Just to check and balance here. Jay, are you saying you've never seen Ganon in a video game? Or are you just mean for this video game?
For this one, but, like,
Okay.
I'd seen, like, the cartoon, but, like, I still don't remember visually what he looked like. It's not like... It's not like Bowser from Mario Brothers, where I've seen him everywhere. I could visually tell you the different kinds.
Right.
Like, well,
it's interesting that, too.
I've only seen him
he's
now,
not-
so, like, I don't even remember seeing him anywhere else.
All the new games, he's not like this at all.
So
I can't remember him in Ocarina, actually.
I thought he was different. I thought he was not this, though.
Well, he's Ganondorf. He's more like he's
yeah.
more humanoid in the newer games.
That's what I was just because
Yeah.
in the manual as well as even in the tips and tactics, I think they're like, no one knows what he looks like. Like, it's a mystery. So I remember getting here as well as a kid and being like, all right, let's see this asshole. And it's like, oh, what? It's just he's a big blue pig. Like, I don't know. It was kind of a disappointment, I thought. I was like, oh. I mean,
he definitely doesn't have any animation, actually. He's like a still sprite that just kind of pops in, and that kind of sucks for sure.
I didn't know.
Not that any enemy, I guess, in this game has like some really wild-ass fucking fun electric animation or anything, but yeah, the fact that he is like completely static is a real
The battle sucks.
letdown.
The battle
probably.
sucks. Just
The
like,
battle
like as
sucks.
boss battles go, this one sucks because it's just I don't know if I was doing something wrong, but it's just random. He's disappearing, he's reappearing. You gotta fight him while he reappears, while he's invisible. Like, it just seemed like I was just swinging. I seemed like I had my sword and I'm swinging in the dark over and over. And sometimes I get him, and if I get him, then I'll just keep stabbing him over and over and over. I'm getting him a lot of times, and he's just like flashing his hurt over animations, and it'll disappear again. And that's what it just felt like, over and over, just swinging in the dark.
That's about right, Jay. There's no other.
Oh my god.
There's no short. Well, at least I don't know. I guess maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. But there is no shortcut to getting those blows that reveal him. Basically,
I've researched but never been able to like.
I mean, you do learn there are like there's a finite number of places he can appear. It's not he can't just appear anywhere on that grid, but it's enough where
supposedly kind of like a sideways figure 8 or an infinity. They say he kind of loosely follows that pattern, but I've never been able to be like, I know where he is. I just pick left or right side and be like, all right, I'm just going to go over here and start going nuts, like stabbing around. So
I can see that. And I wonder, obviously a speedrun will show you. I'm presuming it's a predetermined. It's not. I'm assuming that it's not RNG. Basically,
yeah,
I guess.
I think it is.
I'm assuming that it's a specific flow chart that a speedrunner knows. So, I guess I'd be curious to know that. So there's that one thing too. But again, that's obviously not within like fucking whatever reasonable role play. Being able to do this in any dependable sort of way. Yeah. Well, just to finish off, just kind of the aesthetics of it. He has some whitish highlights on his face, and then he has a skull belt buckle. Whatever to round out his drip. It's kind of fun. And then the gray floor tiles of this arena also are in skull shape. And then I would love to be a fly in the wall for the development cycle of this, because in the corners we have like the fish and dragon statues that are everywhere else in this game too. And I wonder if at some point in the or even in the second quest maybe, if those do fire. Or did fire at some point, and they were like, "This sucks." Right. We got to take that out. That is the little Timmy, the one playtester we hired for this, hated this. So let's take it out.
For real, they're so like, yeah.
Well, Jay, could you please do us the honor, since this was your first time playing The Legend of Zelda, of reading the tips and tactics description for Sir Ganon here?
The evil Ganon. Ganon stole the power of Triforce and is conspiring to rule the world with darkness and terror. Ganon lives in Death Mountain, but other than that, nobody knows his true identity or characteristics. You won't be able to see Ganon until you have assembled the wisdom of Triforce by gathering all 8 pieces of wisdom. In order to overthrow Ganon, you must find his weakness. What in the world is Ganon's weakness? Your mission is to conquer Ganon and save Princess Zelda.
Okay. So, yeah, he immediately disappears and begins shooting orbs with the same color scheme as his sprite has at you. And yeah, it basically feels like random ass spots in the room, And yeah, I mean, it's funny you say figure 8 because I literally wrote down maybe 8 to 10 spots that he's shooting from.
Oh yeah.
But either way, yeah, it is just how in the fuck am I supposed to get him?
Yeah.
It has to be the prevailing emotional response to first walking into this battle. Yeah. And yeah, and you don't, even to be honest with you, going into this battle and even hitting the first few times and getting him to appear and like not sure, couldn't remember that he turned red even before to do the thing. And like the first few times I hit him, I'm like, am I doing damage? Am I forgetting some step in this? Like I guess maybe the point of that would be that like the feedback is not very helpful.
Well, it's helpful when you hit him because he like, it almost like he's doing like
yeah, well, yeah, that's good, obviously, but like you don't know if like I need to be doing something else. How many of these am I going to have to do? Like that's not, I don't think, communicated in a way.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that's communicated in a very clear way.
It can be a very like frustrating fight because, like you said, you don't really know, and it's like there's not really skill you can use. I just kind of just like, I hope I have potions and just stabbing away. I don't know.
Well, so a few things. Whatever, I kill him, of course, and like just whatever, interpreted that as whatever, just hit him 4 times, turns red, shoot the thing, right? But reading the wiki and kind of trying to get like to the bottom of the math of it and figure out whether it is like, is it damage based or is it just like a flow chart you have to do? It is damage based, it is sword based. So Jay had to hit him 8 times. That's one thing to know. And if you have the fucking wooden sword, you got his ass 16 times before he turns red. And then on top of that, if you don't hit him with the arrow in the 1 red appearance, his damage resets.
Yeah, it absolutely does. That's what happened to me. Yeah.
Okay. So you had to hit him more. So, how many multiples of 8?
So before I got the sword, or before I got the silver arrow, I came in here and I got him, hit him the 8 times or whatever. He changed colors and I didn't know what to happen there. I kept swinging at him, hitting him, nothing happened. And, he looked like he was just like brown or whatever. And I'm like, nothing happens. He disappears. And then he goes back to his normal blue color again. And I'm like, wait a minute. And so I go through the whole thing again. He goes, and then it starts over. And I was just like, I can't. Like, I have like 1 heart left. Like, what? I've used everything. What is happening?
This is not going well.
Yeah. So before I had the silver arrow, that sucked. But like, once I got that, then once I came back with the silver arrow, game changer. I knew it was going to be the wild swinging, whatever. I got there. Lose so many hearts because it takes so long to get those freaking 8 hits in. But very satisfying when I pull out that freaking bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. On victory, yes, Ganon flashes yellow. Like after you shoot him with the arrow, he flashes yellow and then red and then explodes. And honestly, I think a pretty gruesome animation.
Yeah.
We're talking shit about is maybe movement animations, but for a 1986 video game with this target audience, I think it's a pretty gruesome death animation, to be honest with you. And then we are treated to the same cue as when we walked in, music cue, I mean. And then the Triforce of Power appears, and unlike every time we've seen the Triforce of Wisdom in the game, either the opening scroll, whatever, it's always pointed up, basically. Yeah. So in this case, it's pointed down, and it's like standing in a pile of fucking bodily remains, basically, which is, again, just very gruesome, I think, given what we're talking about here. And yeah, just really parsing that. I was like, you can't think of that little pile of red shit as anything but like blood and guts, And that's pretty wild, I think. It was pretty fun to kind of make that whatever connection.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I still do.
And it's also like bigger than the Triforce of Wisdom has ever been presented like on the game screen. It's probably twice the size, maybe even. Well, Link, I'm pretty sure that it auto doesn't. It's hard. I mean, even if it's not, and it leaves it up to you to go over and collect it, no one's gonna dilly dally with that. So you go over and you grab it, and then the pile of Ganon Goon does not disappear on top of that. So you grab the fucking thing, and that remains, which is also just fucking fun, I think. And then the door to the north opens up, and the one to the south does too. And I've never even thought about going that direction, and I wonder what happens if you do. I imagine nothing, you can just walk right back up. But that kind of, again, just surveying everything for the purposes of podcasting, I was like, Why do they let you go that direction at all?
It's like, screw you, Zelda. I got the Triforce.
Yeah, fuck for it. It's like the Dragon Warrior alternate ending of sorts, where you can like beat it without saving the princess. You know, just fucking go back to the king and be like, don't worry about her. Oh yeah, you go up there and Zelda's up there, and this is actually in the left eye of the skull, and this room, she's like standing in this black void on the top half of the room, and she's like in a red dress, I believe, and there's a half circle of flames between, like, right in front of the door, like a half crescent of flames right in front of you when you walk in, and I God, I've beat this game so many times. I did not remember this at all. And I was completely flummoxed for a minute. Like, I'm recording it, of course. And, like, my play video, you can see, like, total confusion in my sprite's behavior. Like, I'm, like, fucking, I kind of, like, when I walked up to it, I'm like, what the fuck? And, like, expecting it to just disappear. That doesn't happen. I take a step back, and then, like, I swing my sword, but I wasn't confident enough in being too close to it. So, like, my sword didn't touch it. So I assumed that, like, whatever, I didn't, like, the sword's not going to work. So, like, I try some other shit. I blow the whistle. I, like... fucking like trying every goddamn thing in my inventory to make this shit go away. And you can actually shoot the bow. The bow works on it too, and that's actually what I got to go away with. But you can use the sword to make it go away also.
Yeah, the tip guy, the strategy guy just says beat him
completely
with your
flummoxed.
sword. So I saw that.
Right.
I was like, okay, done.
Yeah.
If you can run through them if you take the damage, like
I tried body crashing, but I bounced back, I thought.
I think it's like if you hit the one on the right or left and then go up, because it'll push you back. I'm just saying because I didn't even think about stabbing it when I was a kid. I remember running through my whole family. I had them all gathered to see me beat Zelda, and I was like, I don't know. And I just like ran through. I was so desperate and like took the damage, and then
that's amazing that you remember that. Did you have the Polaroid? Have him get the Polaroid camera out too?
I didn't have a camera, but if we did, I don't know where the picture ended up. But
that's amazing that you assembled the family. That's so good.
Yeah, I just remembered later finding. I was like, "Oh, you can stab the." Oh, like felt like a real. Another fun thing is that if
before we move on, let's not move on from that emotional moment. Let's slow down here. Was mom and dad were they proud?
Oh, sure, man. Well, I'll tell you, my parents were into Zelda and they played it as well. But I was the first one to. Beat it.
Really? That's fucking awesome. That is so fucking awesome.
My mom beat the second quest before I ever did as well. Like,
I think you told us that. I think you mentioned that in the last episode.
She was into it, but.
Beat the second quest. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was like, you're crazy, but
yeah.
Another kind of fun thing is that much like the bow with your sprite being red, if you beat her with the blue ring, she's in a white dress.
You know what? When I was literally thinking when I said that red dress thing, I'm like, that's another color palette.
Yeah.
Too. Like,
So
that's not surprising at all to hear. Yeah.
If you've got the chops, I imagine she could be in a green dress if you're
if you're a real dog,
masochist or whatever.
Yeah. That's fun. So when you get to the flames, however you do it, you walk up to her. It like you can't like walk up to her, or it doesn't even like walk you up to her when you get that close. It like blips you next to her. Like you get like cross into that black, and it just blips you next to her right. And then we get the "You Demand" cue. The curtains close, that curtain effect they do, and in the black void with just the two of them staying next to each other, text types out above that reads, "Thanks, Link, you're the hero of Hyrule." And then they each hoist one of the Triforces above their head. Now they both look the same in this case, so they've eliminated that differentiation visually. And then the screen flashes, the ending theme fires up, and then below that, more text types out. Finally, peace returns to Hyrule. This ends the story. And then there is a very brief credit scroll, given what this video game is, I think. Yeah. Just a handful of people. And they put it in kind of this like gray brick room outline. That's a nice little visual touch, I suppose. That rolls by before the end button. And that reads, "Another quest will start from here. Press the start button." And you didn't just start the second quest?
No. I mean, I think I started the button. I pressed the start button, but then I turned the game off. I was like, I'm good. I felt accomplished.
Oh. Yeah. I'm all set, yeah.
Ready to move on to Zelda
2. And then they kind of like, they put that, I guess it just kind of signifies that they were proud of it too, or thought it fun or something too, because like that little line of text then has that Triforce of Power sprite from the Ganon room in the little pile of guts, you know, and then the fucking legalese copyright thing below that. So just, they like thought that was like worth the end button too, you know?
And it was.
now roll into our final installment of Legend of Zelda's Bestiary Annals. Nick, could you please start us off with your select one out of this lineup?
All right. The first one I chose was the Genies, the Ghosts. I'm not quite sure how that's technically pronounced, but I like them because they're a weird, like, unique enemy. Like, you only see them in the graveyard, obviously, but it's, I don't know. I just thought they're pretty cool. These are the ghosts that inhabit the cemetery. There are two kinds of Genies, the one that are in the cemetery from the beginning and the ones that come out if Link touches a tombstone. Their offensive power is as strong as Armos. There is always one Genie in each area of the cemetery. You can't beat the Genies that come out of the tombstones, but you can plot the total destruction of Genies by beating the Genie that was in the area from the beginning. It is still best not to touch the tombstones.
Yes.
I was wondering how obtusely they were going to explain that mechanic. It did not disappoint.
It's a little awkward there, but and they're kind of decent for grinding and stuff. But it's I just have a lot of nostalgia for trying to boomerang that first one as I'm ducking out to let other ones out, and then keep him frozen.
Yeah, it is the grind. Yeah, I mean, I was going to mention talking about my Tales of the Grind, which is good here. Like the tactic of like. Because it doesn't work on the right side of the headstone. You can only do it on the left side, and you got to like half hang off the edge. And yeah, you want him to be as close as possible, so the boomerangs are shorter, the boomerang trips rather are shorter, and you can focus less on it essentially while you're paying attention and like trying to like math out the exact moment to stop letting the ghosts out to maximize. You want to maximize the possible end drop, but not get. Fucking not only not take damage because the getting hit sucks, but also that's how you lose track of the fucking master one. You know what I mean? Both visually and even if you see where he's at, if he's not right there boomeranged and stunned, you're not gonna be able to kill him easily and quickly, and the other ones are just gonna be banging you around. So it's just a really, really like I don't know real time puzzle that is kind of fun to navigate if you're trying to maximize it. Min max it.
And also, maybe I'm not the only person who did this, but if you have a friend or a younger brother or sibling that you can force to put their finger on it and follow it around as you're letting off other ghosts and then come back and stab them, it's always a fun solution.
That hasn't come up. Were you the older brother? You're the
yes, I am the oldest.
Okay. Oh man, yeah, that hasn't come up, but that's one of the things I miss most about maybe jabbing on this is that like there are so many things. I mean, whatever, you listen to our old episodes, some of these anyways. Like there are so many things where I would just be like, Jab, this is your job.
I specifically
get your fucking ass in there and do that job. Shut the fuck up and do it.
You're gonna buy these 99 heal potions.
Right, exactly, yeah. Like I don't give a shit. Grind. I don't care how much it sucks. That's your job today. This is not a democracy. I don't know what you think this fucking little organization, how this organization operates, but you're not a factor in this decision making process. This is your job today.
Poor Jab.
Yeah, so fucking good. I've told Jay a million times he should be fucking putting his kids to work on this. Some of these jobs. So this team brick by brick. This is the Will Smith video. Get your ass in there and brick by brick this fucking grinding situation. That's fucking great. Okay, that's fun. What are there 9, right? Is there HP? I think I recall seeing that.
Yes.
Yeah. Jay, what do you got for us for the first?
My first one is the Moldorms, the basically molten worms. Giant worms that live in the underworld mazes. It's not easy to see a Moldorm's movement because it crawls, but a Moldorm does not have a particularly strong offensive power. The more a Moldorm attacks, the shorter his body becomes. And I see those, and yeah, they're not really particularly scary. It's more just like, let me take you out and hopefully drop something that I need.
And they're at
11. They have 11 HP. So,
and that's got to be counting them as each segment being one or something, because they're clearly.
Well, there's like 6 of them or so. There's not too many, so it's round about 2-ish.
Okay. My first one is Stalfos, and I just feel like these guys are underrepresented in this game. Like this is like the really cool part of the second game, that I enjoy a great deal, both visually and they employ the up-down sword mechanics that, again, have nothing to do with this game, but just something I really like about that game. And I feel like they're such, like, skeletons with swords. Like, that's a cool, it's just a cool thing. An animated undead thing. And I just feel like they don't use them as much here as they could or should because they're cool looking. They're really only in the first couple of dungeons. And they mention, so the description reads, these nasty skeletons have a sword in each hand. In contrast to their appearances, they have weak offensive power. Although it's not a very important enemy, an enemy is an enemy.
Yeah.
And you still have to be careful, otherwise Stalfos could attack you before you attack him. And I guess it's not in there, but somewhere it says somewhere in these literatures of antiquity that later they can fire swords. Like I don't remember seeing them anywhere other than like the first couple of dungeons. I can't think of an instance of them late game.
It's a second quest.
Okay.
In the second quest, they're all shooting sword beams, and it sucks.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear that they are present and more of a factor, I suppose, in the second quest. It's good to hear. By the numbers, there's an HP of 2, though, so easily dispatched, just like I said. But an enemy is an enemy, guys. So, Nick, what is your second one?
I chose the Pole's Voice, which is monsters that have big ears, but their weakness is loud noises. So far, the only way you know to attack one is to surprise him by making a loud sound. There will be other opportunities to attack him, but you must use your own imagination. Even if you don't come up with any new ideas to attack him, you can always try the sword. And
what is the loud noise? What?
Well,
Are they telling you to use the whistle on him?
You might think that, as most people did, including myself, but that's actually a holdover from on the Famicom disk system. The controller had a mic.
Oh, the blow thing. Yeah.
You were supposed to yell into it, but since we didn't have a microphone, they just changed it to the ears, to the arrow. So I don't know why they didn't make it the whistle. That would have just made sense, and not have these misleading clues in the manual. And but
you're thinking the wrong direction again, though. They were like you have one team of human beings dealing with the technical side of this, and you have the manual over here that this person didn't even play the game. They're just translating the manual. So that's the answer to that.
And they are boasting 10 HP, but can be killed with a single arrow.
That's a really fun thing and like, I don't know, I have not done actually any Famicom emulation, so I don't know. I feel like I've read, I should say, it's a rather seldomly employed mechanic in the Famicom thing. But yeah, did you know that, Jay? Like the controllers actually had a little microphone in them that you could fucking like talk into, or it didn't have any like they would pitch it in games as like you are saying things, supposedly voice enabled controls, but really it was a binary, like, am I hearing sound or not? And I think, typically the common thing, like, just blow on it, basically, is the way you normally enact this, like, pressing the button, in that case.
I also think that Pole's Voice is a really weird and interesting name. Where I'm like,
it is.
Who's Poles?
Yeah.
Or is it Pole
It's not even talking.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel there's probably two things. There's probably some really interesting dark web theories about where it comes from, and there's also probably an actual answer out there somewhere that is like just one of the dudes at Nintendo or something and got to like, I'll let him. Yeah, he wants to name it that, sure. Like his name of his cat or something.
He beat me in paper rock scissors, so he gets to
right. Yeah, he gets to determine this. Jay, number 2.
My second one, which we talked about in our playthrough thus far, was the Land Mola. The giant centipedes.
Okay, so very, very, very centipede-minded on these selections.
Very much. Because I thought, actually, of the skeletons that we just talked about, but I hadn't seen them in so long. I was like, I don't even want to talk about these. They're not cool, But the Land Mola is like, these giant centipedes, it's not effective to attack one's head, so aim at his body. There are 2 kinds, red ones and blue ones.
Are their heads not? Can their heads not take damage? I mean, they're moving so fast. I don't feel like I would never be able to discern this. But I'm surprised to hear even the suggestion that those might be.
Yeah, I think that's it, because I would always
have to attack the body first.
I would always line up, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there's two kinds, red ones and blue ones. They both move very quickly, but the blue ones move with ultra high speed. It's dangerous to get too close, so you must have a weapon that enables you to attack him from a distance. And I would use the wands on these bad boys as well, and they would definitely be effective.
I can definitely think of myself before getting to this wand kick that I had in this playthrough of just feeling like the Gliok kind of feeling with these things. They're just like hoping it goes well, and you're in there just banging around.
I was using these like drop some rupees for me. Like, I'd love to see these bad boys.
What's their HP deal?
Their HP is 2 per segment, so about 12. At the max, 10, 12.
Word. My last one to close us out on this is the Zol, and these are the slimes, the big ones. But there's just, I don't know, there's something really satisfying about, like, when you go, because in the beginning of the game when you encounter these, you have the wooden sword, and when you kill them, in that case, they turn into the blue gels, or the little two gel things. And clearly you can't get drops from them, right? So there's just something really satisfying about the uptick to the white sword, and how when you start killing them then, these essentially are just like pickup drop vessels. They move so slow, they're so benign, they're usually just rooms of them exclusively in a lot of cases, or maybe paired with something like
not
middle
hard
dungeons
as well.
Yeah, the middle dungeons will pair them with bubbles, but like because there's no dangerous offensive capability, you can just outlast that. It's no big deal. So whatever the case, usually when they see these, it's like a breath moment, and it's literally they're just there to provide you with hearts and rupees and bombs, maybe, Yep. So that is I just really enjoy something about that little change when they become that for you.
Yeah.
In the dungeons. The tips and tactics description reads, these jelly-like monsters roam around in the underworld mazes. If you cut a Zol in half, each half becomes a gel. Zol's offensive power is about twice as strong as Gel's. Only Gel appears at the beginning of the game. I don't know what that means, because that's not true. They're
throughout.
Present in later dungeons as well. Yeah, so that's not true. So whatever that means, who knows. And they are a 2-banger on the numbers front, 2 HP. So again, just 1 pop with anything but the wooden sword. Okay, moving into our, I expect to be very brief, Tales of the Grind. There's not a lot of grinding either of us or any of us would have had to do. Oh, I guess you did have to grind, actually, for that fucking blue ring situation, Jay, so you had that, but
yeah, but
where did that go down for you?
I mean, that was
in the woods?
Yeah, just right around the woods right there. I would just kill all the enemies I could on the closest vicinity I could until I got enough rupees. And so it was surprisingly... I'm so used to these bigger grind sessions from our RPGs that we've been playing, the Dragon Wars and stuff, that like it did not take long to get that 250 rupees, and I was done. So yeah, not much.
Yeah,
no, it's not. It's definitely not as bad as like a Dragon Warrior 2 grind. No question. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I
thank God it's an action adventure.
yeah. There was one thing that I wanted to talk about that we briefly, or we didn't really bring it up, but. On that strategy leaflet, right, there's a little section where it's like some enemies drop bombs more, some drop rupees more and stuff. And I've been kind of fascinated by this. I'll put a link in the chat.
Oh, it's like things that are better to be grinding on?
Yeah, kind of. Well, they break it out like where you can see this kind of ties into that forced drop thing you were talking about, but you can see these different groups of enemies and what they will drop depending on where it's a separate counter.
See, this is like porn for me.
But I just thought it was really interesting to see like how much where you're like, wow, okay, these, because I always kind of, I guess superstitiously, when we would talk about the grinding, and I was like, I always go after those levers and tektites, but you can see where they drop they have 2 blue coins in their little drop sequence. It's kind of complicated and hard to explain in an audio format, but it's
right. No, I'll definitely show note to this for sure. Yeah, this is fucking great. Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I think of those fucking blue tektites as like I feel like I remember thinking wandering around that southeastern forest where there's a handful of instances of. There's like that one screen in particular where it's all blue ones because. those are more of a Death Mountain thing in general, Tektites, I would say. But there's that one screen where there's a bunch of blue ones, and every time I would pass through there and they'd be repopulated, I would get a nice little uptick of the blue rupees, I remember thinking. So that makes a ton of sense, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of wild, but the thing I like, too, is that it shows on that page there's different drop rates. So that group, the Levers and Tektites, the money group, actually drops 60% of the time, while the rest of them are only 40 or 30. So it's a little, I don't know what it's. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many variables to this. So it breaks it out into, you have that's what that means. The turns means it's just how many enemies you've killed in a row, right? That's what that's talking about?
Yeah, but
right?
I don't think you can get hit. That won't reset this counter, but it's like depending on where it is and what enemy, and if it drops, like it seems almost like a kind of really complicated way to do it. But I mean, I don't know how to program, so.
But exactly. But again, well, there's just, I think it's just complicated because they wanted it to feel varied. Is probably the logic there. You know, you want it to not, at least until to the layman, you want it to not be perceivable. Yeah, basically. So, and obviously,
I think it
but
works.
This being math based, it's beautiful. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no way I could memorize this, but I'm sure speedrunners do and try to employ this system in a dependable, calculable way.
I guess.
Yeah, smart is psychotic for sure, but
smarter folk than I.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, there's only. The fairy only appears 3 times. Like, that's in this little. Yeah, this is wild. Yeah, listener, you got to fucking pull this up and look at this. This will blow your mind if you've never seen it before. That's really interesting. Good find, Nick.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, the only thing I had to talk about was the graveyard grinding. I had to do it when I came out of 6. I think it was 6, and I had to go over there I had to upgrade to well, this was actually interesting. Whatever happened, I had to leave. I died, whatever the fuck it was. I think I died accidentally, maybe, and I had not used the second potion. So I had a blue potion still. So I, of course, wanted to get back to the red before I went back to the dungeon. And I also wanted to, fill my hearts up. Or maybe that was it. I didn't want to spend the time filling my hearts up grinding, so I just used a potion. It took me down to a blue. So I wanted to get back to red before I went back in. That's what it was. And I never thought to do this or try it or fence test it, whatever. Going into the medicine shop with the blue one already, I fully expected buying a blue one would just be a waste of 40 rupees. Yeah. I did not expect it to just give me the second one and turn it red.
Oh, really?
To its credit, it does. To its credit, it does. I was really impressed that was not a waste of rupees. So
nice.
Yeah. Little victories here in the 8-bit gaming domain. Now we turn our attention to closing out our Literature of Antiquity, the Legend of Zelda Tips and Tactics, and we will start with the Overworld section, the back 4 of those. This is pages 42 through 53, so you have sections 5, 6, 7, and 8 basically, and starting in section 5, which is the top row of the map, 1 click over from the top left, so central, north, west, central, not quadrant, but whatever you would, the 8 unit version of quadrant. Whatever that word is that I don't know. Yeah, how can you not love the first one? Here are the hidden caves that don't help you at all. I just love that. that fucking title. It's like a complete admission that, complete waste of your fucking time. That's just here as a runaround, you know? And I love that, whatever, fucking concession, I guess, by the writers here.
They're going to be straight with us, man. They're just letting you know.
Yeah. Were any of the others interesting to, I guess, Nick, give us yours first?
Okay, well, I chose tip number 4, buy valuable items in the Merchant's Cave. And while this kind of refers to a couple, it does give you some hints about the blue ring. And in the picture, it shows the guy directly above the one where I was like, okay, that would have really helped me as a.
Is this
child.
how you found it, Jay? You said you just popped out and like went to that.
Yeah, no, I went through
like,
all this, and yeah, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I wonder there. Like when I realized that was a place I hadn't checked, like all the dudes. I was like, "All right, let me go for him to look up there too." So yeah, I was going to choose this exact tip as well because
for the same reason. Okay.
Chandler.
Makes a ton of sense. That the leveling up nature of that piece of information for a person that does not know it. Yes. I hear you on that. That's very logical. Section 6 is a blast from the past. This is the left central block on the lower row. It's basically the start of the game. And 6 is my winner here, just for the sheer batshit insanity of this copywriting. So let me read this. This is fucking insane. This is the most insane segment of copy in the whole book, I think, in my opinion. The little old lady who sells water of life lives in a cave in Block L. Link may not need the water of life at the beginning of the game, but it will be critical later on for sure. If you think you need the water of life now, buy the red water first. When you use it up, buy some more. The first time you use red water, it turns to blue water. Therefore, you don't have to buy the red water again. The only time you have to buy the red water is when you don't have any water of life at all, or when you used up the red water. Other than these two situations, you should buy the blue water. It's just it's like the most insane, obtuse way you can, like, yeah, I don't know. There's the idea that a native tongued English speaker signed off on that as an editing choice is fucking wild to me. Like, which probably is the answer, is that no one did. But that is an incredible pice of writing, I think.
It's like, take a shot every time I say red water.
Right, exactly, yeah. Fucking Christ. So yeah, that was too much fun for me. Jay, what was yours this time?
Well, I mean, yeah, mine was 4. So outside of that one, I don't know. To me, I thought 2 was the silliest. Dodge the rocks falling off of Death Mountain. It's like, thanks. Like, that's what I was absolutely going to do. Like, of course there's avalanches happening. Like, why would I stand there? Like, yeah, just ridiculous.
I chose tip 2. There are a lot more hidden caves that you should look for. And this is just, find moblins, bombing and stuff. But I did like that it calls out what block is it? I think it's block B. Yeah, it calls out on their weird little map, but there's the screen that is up from where you get the wooden sword. There's just a hidden moblin in there that I didn't know until about 2 years ago. Like, I was always finding it where I was just like, wow, it's right there this whole time under my nose. And so I just, shout out to me being a fool.
Yeah, so you gotta look up that map. I'm telling you, there's a few of them that are like, wow. I mean, because again, so you play the game so many times, you think I know them all, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I was surprised at how many, well, I knew the number, but I was surprised at how many I'd never, whatever.
Yeah.
In all my fucking reading Nintendo Power tippage that I had never come across.
I did not look at that tip in detail. Like, I definitely skipped over that because I never found these bombs, like, well, I mean, I had the bombs. I never found these places to bomb them. Because, at least in the dungeons, you know where to bomb. You can see in between the 2 lights on the wall what they look like. Like, I'm going to bomb here in these 4 quadrants. Here, I'm bombing along the walls. I'm like, I don't know if there's like a spot I should be looking at. So I just abandoned it after like...
Well, they tell you, Jay, it's all the flat bottom tiles. Which is like, I don't know, 96% of them.
So I did not go thorough with those. I was just annoyed. Like, so whatever was behind those, I just missed that stuff.
It's just, like I said, even the ones that I just use the map. Like, there is no fun benefit to just truly fence testing all of these. I think, if you are genuinely playing blind, you can stumble across some of them, and like the bush ones are maybe, especially once you have that second flame or the red flame, and you can do it as many times as you want. Because again, the bottlenecking with the bombs is just as applicable on the overworld.
Yeah, it's too expensive, man. It sucks.
Yeah. No fun. Section 7 is probably the most late game of the overworld stuff, the northwest corner, so the graveyard, labyrinth 6, etc. And this one, not the most important thing in the world, but they forgot to include the little grid here in the book. So their citations to Block C, etc., mean nothing. So that's just a little whoops on the editing side. And 6 is the most interesting for me here as well, because I don't know what the fuck it's talking about. I did not know there were any hidden shits beneath the gravestones other than the fucking Master Sword one. So this is where I learned that, and yeah, went and looked that up. So that was a revelation. Nick, what do you got for section 7?
I chose number 5, which is, another cemetery one, but more talking about finding the magic sword. But specifically, I liked it because it says, however, unless you have enough life hearts, you won't be able to get the magic sword, which is the truth, unlike their white sword misinfo that we heard before. So it's like,
okay,
they're at least acknowledging where you're like, oh, it's heart based. I don't know.
Specifically. Yeah.
Nice to see.
Agreed. Jay?
For me, number 3, just how to enter the caves to take the shortcuts. Because when I was playing the game, I actually saw that spot over there and was kind of like, how do I get over there? What does that mean? And so it kind of just left a little something dangling to figure out later, which thankfully I would.
Those little 4 diamond pattern rocks, you're always like,
super
something's
conspicuous.
right there.
Yeah. Super conspicuous, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is like, it's not, that is no question the most conspicuous of them. I guess that's how the one in the lower right is too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that one's equally as so.
But that's closer to the beginning of the game, though. So to me,
right.
It's kind of like, it's probably just whatever. But this one seemed like there's stairs leading up to a clearing by itself. There's something going on.
Well, what I was going to say was, before that popped into my head, was the fact that they put the most conspicuous one in the most dangerous part of the map means you're not going to have it that dangle per se that you said is not going to happen until late game. So maybe whatever, but the fact they put the same thing in the beginning totally negates that idea. But the other 2, so what? Yeah, the one that's above level 2, and that's the one that is also pretty good. It's just the one fucking block you push up, and that's pretty conspicuous too. And I guess also the other one is the dead end thing too. That's the dead end tip, actually. Yeah. So yeah, they're all pretty conspicuous, and I guess they do a good job of tipping them all off, and at least within the syntax of the game language, putting something that looks a little out of the ordinary on the screen and suggesting you should investigate it. The last is section 8, the southwest corner, and the copywriting in the 5th blurb on the Lost Woods gets kind of crazy too. Nowhere near that potion nonsense, so I'll spare us, but that also was a little bit goofy on the copywriting front. Jay, finish us out?
Yeah, I went with level 3 here, or number 3. The entrance to level 7 is here. And it's, one of the fairy fountains that there's no fairy at. And I don't know, I think the game did a really good job of leading me to what to do here. It was never a question. I came here, and based on the tips earlier, I was like, no fairy. They talked about this. Let me just use the whistle or whatever it was. And
we kind of blew past this, actually. I guess maybe Nick, because it is such second nature. Yeah. But yeah, we did kind of blow past that and did not talk about the discovery aspect of that little thing.
But it was surprising. I would have expected something to be like, because I obviously found this earlier in the game before I knew that, and I was just like, oh, no fairy here, and just left. But when I came back at the appropriate time, it was like, oh, let me do the whistle and see what happens. So it just naturally worked. And so I didn't even need this tip, but it was interesting that in case you didn't, here you go.
Yeah, no, and yeah, this game doesn't always do that. So yeah, it's definitely a significant mention to say so. Say that it did here in this case.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. And what's your last, Nick?
My last one was tip number 4. Moblin's Cave is here. And the reason I chose this one, because it kind of talks about several of the free coins around here. But this, in the top left of their little picture, you can see the stairway that, in the edges of a few other trees that you can piece it together. There's only one spot, and that's where there's, for me, I was the one of the 3 100 rupee spots. This was one I didn't know until 5 years ago. Or I was like, whoa, there's one in the Brown Woods? I never knew. Okay. And so that was this will just make it even easier to, power up and stuff.
Do what I do at the beginning of the game, basically.
Was this? So I just wanted to ask you if this was Like, is this the one that you didn't know about? You mentioned 2 and finding.
No. The 100 one I didn't know about was one up in Death Mountain area. Yeah, no, this one I know about, and it's actually because of where this one is. There's one over in the Brown Woods maybe this is in that same area, but there's another screen that's kind of like this. Maybe it's a green one with this same kind of like dividing line. Whatever the case, there's one I always try errantly thinking from memory.
Oh, yeah.
Because of this one's existence. So, yes, this is one I do know about because I guess one of the 2 situations it does work for me, maybe is the point.
Gotcha.
Okay, so now we move into the labyrinths, and we start at page 78, Blizzard Dungeon. And I like Struggling with Dark Nuts, just because it's a funny title. Here, first one. Nick, what's your first for level 5?
For level 5, I chose tip number 10. This is getting helpful in the hidden room, or helpful info in the hidden room, which this gives you some hints about, again, the Pole's voice, where I like it, though, because according to the manual, The Legend of Zelda, this enemy is the Pole's voice. The manual says that you should surprise him with a certain sound. Is surprising the Pole's voice with a sound really effective?
That's amazing. They're like trolling you. They're like trolling you from their own error of sorts. That's amazing.
They're really like, good. Hey, that manual's full of it. Like, trust me, I'm the one with tips and tactics here.
Yeah, that's great. That's fun. That's what a great time when you could actually just have fun, like where they didn't have like no one like be like, you can't do that. Like, just it has to all be legit. People will talk shit on the internet. Like, none of that existed. And it's like if a dude in a room thought something was funny, no one was going to check and balance him. He was just going to be able to get it, fucking shoot it right through.
Maybe he was like, look, the manual's already been printed, but I noticed this is wrong, so I'm going to do my duty. I don't know.
Yeah, what a better time. Jay, what do you got on this one?
For me, it's number 6. It's obvious what the Gyptos are holding. And that was silly to me because, like these enemies are just walking around. You can see they're holding a key or whatever it is. So it's kind of just like, I'm going after you, bro. Like, it almost reminds me of like the enemies when we're playing Demio. Like, you would see that dude's carrying the key. You're like, ooh, you're my target.
Right, yeah. The Stalfos too. That's another thing I like about the Stalfos is the way they look when they do appear briefly in the first couple of they will put keys in them. Especially, I know for a fact in the first dungeon. And they look funny too because they're such like a sparse. Maybe it's because they're such a sparse sprite.
Yeah. So it's just it's so much easier to see their whole body.
Yeah.
Dude, what's cool is when you see monsters like that, if you hit them, like they have invincibility frames, you can duck in and grab the item without killing them and duck out. If you're really fast,
I did not.
They kind of have to be walking at you. I think I can't do it reliably, but I just thought it was a neat little thing.
That is a fun little tick. Labyrinth 6 is the dragon, and I kind of wanted the thing about the Wizrobes. This is where I wanted to bitch about them being more unpredictable, the blue ones and the yellow ones. But it got me thinking, and thinking is better than bitching, so let's think instead. And you can get the magic wand in here, is this one. And it reads, on the underworld map, the treasure room is usually hidden in the room in the corner of the map. And this is, again, the corner thing. This is true with the Triforce as well. Important things are in the corner of the map, which made me want to do a quick data study. And I immediately thought at 9 and how it was true there. But what is the percentage of the rest of the dungeons where this, I guess, applies? The corners are important in some significant way, and it's part of it is just the how does the map work? It doesn't even have corners. Like, one is kind of balanced. It's the eagle. So I'll say yes. This makes sense there because there's things in the edges of the wings, right? So that's a yes. Level 2, there is no treasure room, and it's the moon. So I guess maybe you could say it's in the fucking boss. So maybe this is a really iffy one. You could say yes about the bosses in the top of the moon, but I don't really think that applies.
Yeah.
And then 3 is the swastika. Definitely has no corners. It's like a very balanced thing, and that's a no for me. 4 was a no. 5 was a yes. 6 was a yes. 7 was a no. 8 was a yes. 9, absolutely, of course. So over half of them, 5 out of the 9, or 6 if you want to say the moon, maybe. So yeah, a pretty good percentage that this is true of. And again, it just, to see it in print and think about it as a universal, universality. Is that a word? I don't know. Was like, I don't know. Again, had never thought about it as being a thing in the game, and that was kind of cool to me.
Yeah. Well, there's like a weird, like, all of the dungeons fit together in this weird way. Like, if you're looking at, like, say, map 6, you can see where the Manji fits in. Like, that's kind of a space-saving thing. So
probably, yeah.
There's a bunch of them where it's like the wing of the eagle fits into the mouth of these, but the ones that don't. So, like, I mean, I don't know how useful this would ever be, but if you knew, you're like, hey, wait a minute, this is where the X dungeon should be. I don't know. It's really weird, but it's.
Well, yeah. Basically, you don't have to worry about the off-map stuff if you know that is map 2, and they just don't have enough code to make that a secret. Then I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, that's high-level shit, though, Nick.
As a kid, I noticed that.
Seeing the fun. That's seeing the fucking Matrix.
Well, like noticing that as a kid, and being like, I was like, maybe there are passages from one dungeon to another. So I go around bombing all the. I was like, what are you doing, you idiot? Like,
yeah. Above and beyond. I love it. Getting creative with defense testing is always fun. How can I exploit this in some way, shape, or form? And yeah, I mean, as a kid, obviously you're just in your own little fucking universe and like, whatever, coming up with fucking solutions for things on your own without a fucking parent's whatever help or some older brother's help or an older dickhead, whoever, your friend, whatever. If I could do it all yourself and like make an actual, just like a true discovery, and like I just wish there's a seed of honesty and purity in that is obviously unachievable as an adult. Jay, what do you got for 6?
I got the number 11. Aim for Goma's weak spot. Because, again, that one pissed me off.
That was such a trouble for you.
It's like, yeah, thanks. I tried that. Yeah. It should have said, make sure you're lined right the fuck in the middle. Like, you're going to, like, don't worry about not getting hit. Because I would try to, like, shoot and move, and,
Jay, it's like...
No stick and move here. This is not boxing.
It's almost as good as the bald bull thing, dude. Like, I get what I'm saying here is, it's almost, I think... No. The satisfying feeling of blipping that fucker in the nanosecond as you walk into the room is almost worth taking the time to play the game again. Yeah. Just to walk in there and just to have that happen to you. It feels so good. They start dumbing the dungeon coverage down with 7, the demon, and there's no map. Tips aren't numbered anymore, and I would say they're generally a little less wordy. I kind of feel like there's nothing doing with these as far as the tips go. Like I said, they're mostly just like open-ended questions that get you thinking about maybe the solution, as opposed to previously they're providing you actual information. So I don't know about reading those, but I think reading the opening blurbs is kind of fun. So Nick, if you could read 7's opener.
Phew, you finally cleared the ultra-difficult level 6. One thing you should know about level 7 is that there are an awful lot of boomerang-wielding gorillas. They aren't very strong enemies, though, and you can beat them easily. The Aquamentus guarding the Triforce chamber isn't particularly powerful either. Defeating him will be a breeze. So as you can see, level 7 isn't all that difficult, relatively speaking. You might say it's of medium range difficulty.
I like that. They try to quantify it for you. It's nice. Moving into 8, give us the line.
Can you hack your way through the fierce attack beam of the stone statues? The 8th Underworld maze has a simple layout, so there's no need to worry about getting lost. Its overall shape is similar to the profile of a lion's head. Though it may appear easy, beware, because there are a lot of rooms of beam-shooting stone statues. You should already have the magic shield with you, but remember, while you're fighting your enemy, you must also dodge the beams. It could get tough. Level 8 is of medium difficulty.
Fuck off. That level is a fucking shit show as far as like the
yeah, I was goes. Surprised what they were saying.
And also medium difficulty. No, I do not concur. Shogun Publishing or whatever the fuck it is. Level 9 Death Mountain. At last! The final showdown with the evil Ganon. Go for it! Finally, you've reached the last maze. The second room from the entrance is level 9. To level 9 contains a little old man. If you haven't assembled all the parts of the Triforce, he will not let you pass. This maze is the largest one yet and extremely intricate. Some rooms lead to shortcuts, and some rooms lead nowhere. So to keep from getting lost, you had better make a fucking map as you explore. All you have to do is make the map, and you'll be through level 9 in no time. Okay.
I want to give a shout out because it does tell you at the very bottom, it's like, before you can rescue the Princess Zelda, you must put out the fire. But how? Just beat it with your sword. Where they're like, okay, we know one day this idiot named Nick is going to try to walk through it like a total boob.
Yeah. Or, like I said, I was body crashing, whistling, everything. Like, thank God the arrows worked. Like I said, in my head, I had thought I had tried the sword. So, like, who knows how much longer I would have stayed there. Stood there like a moron. So, yeah, it's good to have been there for that reason as well. For me as well, I should say. So after the dungeon shit, we get a couple of pages that are titled A Course in Advanced Techniques. So I guess we'll each maybe grab one of these. Jay, which of these? I was assuming you didn't read this in your late game perusal when you were a little bit stuck on some things. Which of these would have been the most useful for your playthrough in your view?
I think the most useful of these would have been don't draw your sword recklessly. You know, whenever Link draws his sword, he has to lower his shield, and he can find himself face to face with a direct attack of stones, spears, beams, and swords. So, you must use your sword in moderation. Keep your shield up, watch for breaking your enemy's attack, and then go for him with your sword. That's the sure way to victory. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely times in those when those statues are shooting at you and stuff. Like, you can't just be all attack. You gotta like stop, let me turn, let me block, and like it's you got to keep your wits about you in this game.
I told you, you had these veterans here to help lead you, to help shepherd you through, and we talked about last time how good of a job the game does in giving like the sword play some actual fucking meaning, you know, in the game. So yeah, they do I totally agree that this is a really important thing to learn and kind of internalize. And like I said, even fucking. I played the game however many times. I still got it sometimes. Like, it's like a quarterback, like even like a veteran quarterback, sometimes has to go back to the guru and get him to fuck with his mechanics and get him to like fucking get his platform right and like his throwing motion right again. You know, no matter how you just get into your groove and you just forget about the rules, basically the baseline rules to your process. And yeah, that's an important one to go back to for sure. Nick, what do you got?
I actually chose number 7 as well because I think it's one of the big draws of this game is the blocking, attacking mechanic. You know, and Zelda 2 expands on it in a different way, but it makes you and allows you to use 2 weapons and have a shield without burdening that with a button. And I don't know, it just it's part of the big appeal to me of this game is the action.
Absolutely. Feels so good when it hits your lips. Yeah, very good. Like I said, I mean, I mentioned earlier, but mine are kind of like a combination of 2 and 3, which, are both outside, I think, the intended mechanics of the game of, like, the 2 is make it a rule to check out the next screen. It's like, I think of, like, the binoculars in Metal Gear, where, like, you can, like, it's the same concept, just a different, whatever, mechanic to employ it. But they're telling you to, like, you have that, like, brief moment of, like, shit's not going yet, or it's not. They don't ever just drop shit right on top of you on the entrance to a screen. You always have some space between you and the enemies wherever their spawn points are. So you can walk onto a screen, let that fucking the little on the overworld, it's like the little white fucking shells, see where those are at, or even let them deploy and see what the enemies are, so you know what their attack patterns are going to be based on your experience, and then walk back off the screen to the screen you theoretically, hopefully already cleared. And it's safe, and kind of like make a plan, man. And that is like, again, if you're like clearly we're as adults here playing this game, and like nothing's that hard in overworld where you really got to do that. But if you're like a kid and like everything matters, and like you're like super fucking, like whatever, like trying to do everything, whatever, you're worried, you actually have fear about dying, like all these things factor into kind of the way to play the game as a kid. And yeah, I mean, that is like, if you can get a kid to slow the fuck down and like really think about it and map it out, that is like a cool ass, opportunity to present in a game that's kind of simple in its construct, to like to elevate your strategy in that way is pretty cool, I think. And they're telling you in 3 to do the same thing in the underworld, basically. Yep. They qualify it that you can't, if the door closes, you can't, this isn't an option, but otherwise it is,
Like, how do you get through the game without doing this though? Like, I feel like this is a core experience of the game. Like, you go in, it's like, oh shit, let me backtrack. Like, okay, So when I go in there,
I gotta come out.
when I go in there, the blue levy's coming this way. They will hit me. Like I gotta go down first. That's a core part of figuring this out to me.
Yeah, again, that's a perfect example of something that's just like it's hard. It's just no way to look at it through a fresh lens, which is why it's great to have someone playing it for the first time in these experiences because that again, it's just like we were saying. I was talking about with the fucking like. The purity of being a child and playing the game is you can't once you played it 87 fucking thousand times. There's just things you can't remember to like see for what it is.
That's like me and Mario 3.
Precisely. Okay, let's close this fucker out on 103. Nick, tell us what's next in Legend of Zelda, or in Link's, I guess, roadmap in life.
All right, Link heads on.
Link heads on to a new adventure.
With the wisdom of Triforce, our good hero Link has defeated the evil demon Ganon and rescued Princess Zelda. Thanks to Link's bravery, Ganon's scheme to rule the world in terror and darkness is demolished, and peace is restored to this fair land of Hyrule. Yet, Link's battles do not end here. He takes up 2 pieces of the Triforce in his hand and sets off on another perilous journey. This time he's heading for a new destination, an unknown country. What kind of terrible hardships await him there?
And there is, I think, it did not, until sitting was really thinking about it as you're reading it there, it doesn't even come to me when I was note-taking and shit here, winding this down. Like, part of that suggests they're talking about the second quest, I feel, and that he, Triforce in hand and sets off on another perilous journey, but then a new destination
it's not a perilous
requires
journey.
It's not a new journey.
It's not an unknown country. It's not an unknown country.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not a different place. Is, I guess maybe the important thing. So there's elements to that to debate whether or not it's the second quest or the second game.
Like they were already thinking about it. Like, did they know? Like this is going to be.
Well, I told you they were selling the manual. They were selling the fucking second game. So yeah, they knew. Like I've never actually read any like concrete information on that, but I think all these literatures of Antiques suggest that that had to be in the master plan, that there were 2 games, to some degree or another, I think, early on,
Yeah.
Or at least before this was finishing out the door. Maybe not early.
They had to have good enough signals that they're like, oh yeah, we come up with the second one.
Yeah. Well, that's probably what it is. They probably finished the game and like, you know what, guys? I think this is bad.
Yeah.
We got to plan to make another one of these. Put that in the book. Let's start teasing it now. This is for sure. This is dope.
I'd like to give a shout out to this cool picture of Link here, where we've seen plenty of these, really well drawn. It looks awesome, but he has all of his equipment. Like you don't see that very frequently.
Yeah.
That's true. And if we haven't, we should have talked about just like the absolute magical bag of holding situation required in order for him to tote all this shit around. But here, it actually looks practical. Although the problem with this is that ladder that he has actually strapped to his back there is useless for what we actually use it for. And that's the ladder and the raft obviously are the tough parts of this idea. Everything else, sure, can be packed in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, those 2 things seem impossible to me. And the big ass shield in particular for him to carry around and actually function in the way that like they function in the game.
It's interesting because I don't know if you guys watched the old cartoon a lot, but in that one it was always it's always interesting to see where you're like, okay, I'm an animator, I'm doing a cartoon about Zelda. Here's all this stuff, but there you're like, I don't play the game, so I don't understand like where does this stuff go? So they had it like kind of like bag of holding, where it was like the items would shrink and go in there, and they would pull them out, and I was like, well,
is that what it is?
Yeah,
I haven't watched it in forever. I feel it was just on. It was on Netflix or something. I feel like maybe I even tried to watch it. Maybe I did watch it, but I can't remember it. I can't remember. Maybe it was just the Mario. Maybe actually, I think maybe it was the Mario show, and they didn't have the Zelda ones. It was maybe what I'm thinking.
I can't remember. I went back and watched them all a while ago, but I remember thinking, I was like, well, that's because there's some certain like weird mechanics and things that as a video game player, you're just like, whatever, I'm playing the game. But if you're someone who's trying to make
sense of
it, you're like, I'm an adult who doesn't play these games or get it. So they come up with some weird stuff. And I thought the Zelda one was kind of one of the better things,
For sure. Okay, well, that is the game. That is the tips and tactics, or the end button on the tips and tactics book. Jay, tell me how you're a changed man after having played Legend of Zelda for the first time in 2026. Or 2025, I guess.
I think. Well, I have a lot of appreciation for the series now. Like it's easy for me to kind of understand, having played now like Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior 1 and 2, and like these bigger RPG adventures that I didn't want to touch as a kid, versus my platforming, and like I see now why this game was a draw and why they built upon it, because I expected much more grinding, to be much more grind heavy, like, oh, it's going to be an RPG, which I'm a fan of RPGs now, but like as a kid, you couldn't get me to touch them. And this is nowhere near grind heavy like that. It's still action-y. It's a good game. I'm impressed that we finished it in such a short amount of time, and that like my own playthrough was as short as it was. I took notes, all the notes I felt like I needed to, but way less notes than I expected, because this was much more like I was enjoying the experience of playing through it. Like there was clearly tough times, but yeah, man, I'm excited to have done this. I had poker night last night, as normally happens before these podcasts get recorded, and the guys are asking like, "Oh, so what are you guys recording about?" And I mentioned this game, and they're like, "Oh, the original one! Oh my gosh!" And just I kind of was telling them like, "Yeah, I can't believe like the modest roots that it came from," because all I have to think of really is my most recent experiences with Breath of the Wild, Hyrule Warriors, those games that we've talked about, which are actual big RPG stories where you're talking to people, you're traveling down roads. Like it's
amazing
game,
how much of it, of it's in there. The fabric of it is in there, though.
Exactly.
It's amazing how much.
And I think like I appreciate it more. Obviously, they've added things and like all the castles or whatever they're called in there, the temples, whatever. They've clearly added and expanded on the game, but the core game is still there. The dungeons are harder. Like it's just like you have full on battles. Like we take instead of the Lionels being like this little bitch ass sprite, like it's actually a big beast you have to fight. That's a battle, and so I appreciate all that now. And I'm more impressed with this game. Obviously, like Blessing, we're not even having that discussion. It is what it is, And so because of that, like I'm excited to
the most de facto determination in the history of the podcast. Right?
Like I as a result, I want to see. I want to check. A Link to the Past, like these other games and kind of see like how did it evolve? Sure. Because again, I've only seen these, touched them, kind of ignored them because I never really got into the series. And now
we've talked about doing the second one before, and it had never occurred to me how much more interesting it would be to have you play this one first before that one.
Yeah,
because it is. It's such a different video game. And I know you've played it before, so it's not like you're totally fucking whatever green to it. But yeah, it is such a different experience, especially late game, that it would. I guess it would have been a travesty if I had ever steered us into that before you had gotten this done, because this definitely informed that experience, I think. Okay. Nick, did your 73rd play through this game through the prism of this verbose podcast? Did that add anything to your LOZ scrapbook?
Well, a little bit. I've never checked out the tips and tactics stuff, so it was really fun to look at that and see what they were getting at and things. But I mean, it's always a blast to return to this corner of Hyrule and adventure around, and got to putz around with the bow a little different and. So yeah, I mean, I had a great time, and it was fun, especially to leer at the newbie who hadn't played it. It's like, ooh, I want to see. I don't know. It's just
like, man, just fucking. How much could I manipulate this fucker's bad experience?
Well,
that's like what I do all this.
Like when you, someone's like, hey, let's watch my favorite movie. And you're just like staring at them the whole time where you're like, yeah.
Do you love it? Do you fucking love it?
So
you better fucking love it.
Not trying to creep anyone out, but I had a great time. So thanks, guys.
That's great.
Yeah, thankfully, there were way less struggle bussy times. Otherwise, I would have been you would have seen me in the chat like, what the fuck, man? I can't do this. how I felt at Ganon at first. I was like, dude, what? Like, what? I'm at the end. But
yeah.
How do you... This is the start of Jay's text when he's stuck. How? Great. Well, yeah, I mean, I beat this game quite a few times. I didn't expect much new to happen to me as I played through this, but, I mean, it's just no avoiding playing this podcast. That's what we do. I guess we do play this podcast. But doing this podcast, like it always pushes me into like the darkest, deepest, fucking dankest corners of the game, and like I just unavoidable to play something no matter how much I think I know it in this context, and not like find a whole bunch of new shit. Be completely fascinated by some of the shit I do find, and that no question. I mean, that'd be a 10 enemy bombs. Fucking did what? Like, what the hell does that do? What are you talking about? Yeah, like the idea that you can find shit like that after so long is just wild and so fucking beautiful. And thanks for going on the journey with me, dudes. It was cool.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so let's get the fuck out of here with our status updates. Ninja Car, how did you finish up the game on the heart and treasure inventory front?
Across the top, I've got the raft, the magic book, the red ring, the step ladder, and the power bracelet. Big blank spot where that magic key should go. And then I've got the magic boomerang, 5 bombs, silver arrow and bow, red candle, whistle, red potion, and the wand. And
no meat
for me.
Go get your meat.
I did have a full 16 hearts, 117 coins, 17 keys, and 5 bombs.
Word. Gentlemen,
Wow.
tell us about your disappointing number of hearts.
Yeah, I ended it with a measly 13 hearts. So I don't know.
And I guess I didn't think it requisite. But Nick, what sword did you finish the game with?
I had the magic sword.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, Jay. Go on.
Yeah, so I took my measly 13 hearts to the end to Ganon to beat him. Add all the items across the top: raft, the book, the red ring, ladder, the magical key, and the power bracelet. Then bow and arrow, 8 bombs, silver arrow, the bow, red candle, whistle. Definitely no meat, because, again, one time only. The blue water, because I think I used the other one during the fight, and then the wand, of course.
That's actually an important note of significance, I think, because the idea of getting through Dungeon 9 and still having some fucking water of life left over is before you even factor in the white sword situation. So,
well, remember, because
I'm definitely on the letter in mine.
Remember, because I came back and had to do the Ganon thing, like, I stocked up on stuff, and so I kind of flew back through, and I didn't, like, the first time was much more exploratory, so when I came back, I definitely filled it up, but I went through and was like, I'm skipping all this shit, going
all the dumb shit
as much as I could.
Yeah, my shot shows the red water, but I was immediately using it right after because I only had 2 hearts left, like right before going into Ganon's fight. So I was like, not taking that chance.
All right. Todd had 16 hearts, like Sensei would expect of me, and my ending treasure inventory goes as such: raft, magic book, red ring, ladder, magic key, power bracelet, magic boomerangs, bombs, bow and silver arrow, red candle, whistle, bait, letter, wand. The whole shkabo, basically, possible at the end of the game. Well, I guess without maybe some potions. Could have done better. But pretty good job anyways, I think. So what's next? I guess this isn't your responsibility, Nick. It's good for you. But I'd be happy to have you back. This was a blast.
Yeah, likewise.
If you're on board. There are some ruminations within the walls of King Lor's castle that we might break some rules and allow for Able Gamers charity money to dictate our next side quest, even though it's not something we normally like to do. We don't want to like let people dictate our next 12 months of RPG action. That can get a little hairy potentially, so we don't like that to be the rule. But this is coming from a trusted Loric disciple that already told us what he would do, and I kind of am okay with that maybe because we'd probably get there anyways. So we shall see if that comes to be, and that dictates what it is.
We shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. I mean, one, the money has to come in.
Okay.
Can't do that until the receipt hits. Okay. So there's that predecessor. And then also, just timing wise, we'll see. I mean, I definitely want to take a sabbatical. I got some work shit coming up. So I maybe we revisit this, I guess, maybe to say towards the end of late February. And we could talk about what our next one was.
Okay. I'm just saying, one thing I would just throw out there. I do now own the Dragon Warrior 3 remake, HD remake. I'm very excited to play that whenever I get the opportunity. Just saying that.
Okay, well, unless you can switch back to the 16-bit version, or the 8-bit version at any time, I don't even want to hear that.
It's awesome. That's why. That's
okay.
that's why I want to try it.
Okay. Well, until then, dear Lord Disciple, tempt not the fates. We will revisit that then. So you can subscribe to the pod on the platform provided by whatever dumbest company that serves up your pottery. Please rate and leave positive shit for the pod on whatever platform you do listen to us on. If you enjoy our nonsense, the website is nyehentertainment.com/ISOHpod. You can email us directly at isohpodcast@gmail.com to tell us we're doing a really bad job here or whatever else you want to say. You can follow the pod and banter with us on the Facebook page, the Instagram, subreddit, and talk shit to us about our gameplay videos on the YouTube. The link to all those will be in the show notes. We do not have a Patreon, but if you'd like giving money to things the podcast should tell you to, would like to do so at our direction. The Able Gamers Foundation creates custom gaming rigs for gamers with disabilities. That's cool as fuck. AbleGamers.org is where you can find them. T-shirts on their website. They're dope. Proceeds on those after pod expenses go to Able Gamers. Look how cool this fucking chaos thing is. The dead ninjas down there below. You can get shit like that on the website. And money goes to Able Gamers. And Nick, tell us where we can find the Cartridge Command podcast.
Well, you can find it anywhere you search for it, baby. Cartridge Command, and we've got a ton of we recently played, me and our buddy Dale, while Eric is out still recovering. Although I guess he's back at work now, so very soon we'll have some fresh material coming
Get
out.
back here and get to work.
We just finished a little kind of mini series on the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So if anyone's got fans out there, take a listen.
Take a gander. Jay, how can we find you to get you to slow your roll on this Dragon Warrior shit?
My gamer tag is GentlemanJB without the second E. That's where you can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, when I post. I
am on Instagram at MyShiftKeyIsBroke. Those are my gamer tags on Meta for now. Doesn't sound like much longer. And and as well as Steam. And you can find me on Blue Sky at nyehentertainment.com. Okay, bye.
Bye.